Hello everyone, welcome to What If Issei Got His Dragon Powers Stripped, Betrayed, and Became the King of Fighters movie. Before we start, please go support Songdeku1234 for writing that awesome fanfic. This is the translated version I made. There will be some mistake in character's gender, but of course Issei is a male. After defeating the Chaos Brigade and impressing Trisseza, things will happen that will force Issei to abandon the supernatural and return to being human. Clarifications. Issei will be human again. He will go with his parents from Kwa. He had children with his former harem when he was still a dragon and a demon. Therefore, when he returned to being human, these are not his children but rather the children of the new Security because Drake abandoned him, and with that he extracted great red cells and the power of Ophis. He returned to being human because in order to give him the same appearance and structure of his body, they combined the human genes with those of Great Red, in which those of the dragon predominated, because without his human DNA there would be an imbalance with his soul that is designed for a human body and not that of a supernatural being. Issei will study to be a chef. Prologue. The rights to HSDXD and KOF do not belong to me but to their respective creators. Well, after that, let's begin. After the Great Faction War where the Alliance won, Issei had been left in a coma due to excessive energy drain, in which the leaders and the girls had been devastated because they feared that their beloved would not wake up in the time that Issei gave no signs of movement. The girls realized that they were pregnant. Rias, Akeno, Kaneko, Asia, Zenobia, Roswise, Kuroka, Irina, Ravel, Gabriel, Penemu, Seraphil, Yasaka, Emanilde and Ophis, so the age difference did not matter due to their very long lives, and they gave birth. It had been 3 years since Issei woke up, so the leaders of each faction were notified that the pillar was conscious, but they did not take it seriously except for his only master Azazel, and his friend and rival Vala. And they knew why they didn't care, because the girls had found a new partner who was Issei's brother, who he didn't know of his existence because his parents gave him to his mother's sister for being selfish, and Aboro because his mother's family pampered him and had a bad influence, and this caused him to be separated so that he would not influence the life of his younger brother. But the weirdest thing was that he was half dragon and demon. Because of this, the leaders thought that Issei could no longer be the pill again, and they thought that he would stop being the Security to give it to his brother. The one who did not agree was Azazel, because he took a liking to Issei, and he wanted him like his son. Valley also appreciated him as his best friend, but these could not do anything unanimously, and it was already planned what was going to be done. When Issei woke up, he had a 1-year recovery period due to lack of movement, and another to recover his magic. After that he was discharged, in which he realized that none of his partners visited him except the entourage of Sona, Azazel and Vala, who did not tell him anything about his partners or his children, so that he could recover successfully and be discharged while his master was waiting for him to pick him up. Azazel: hello, how are you feeling, Issei? Issei: good, thank you, sensei. Excuse me, sensei, I don't know why the girls haven't visited me. Azazel: he had a serious face. Well, I'll tell you everything when we get to your parents' house. They must be worried about you. Since they found out you were in a coma, they haven't been calm, and we didn't let them come so as not to overwhelm them. Issei had a worried face because Drake didn't speak to him either when he tried to communicate with him. After arriving at his parents' door, he knocked and his mother came out. Mickey, who is it? Issei: it's me, mother. The mother, seeing her son, shed tears and hugged him like never before. Mickey, my boy, how I miss you, you have no idea. Continuing to hug him and call out to him, then letting him and Azazel pass, where he saw his father, who also went to hug him. Goro, son, you had us worried for so many years without knowing a sign of movement from you, and we thought that you were going to stay in that state your whole life and we weren't going to stand it anymore. But the good thing was that you woke up. It should be noted that Issei's parents did not know what had happened to his fiancées and future wives due to a trip that Circe had told them about, and they had returned but were surprised to find their other sons and asked a lot of questions about why he was here. Issei's brother is Dai Hayadu, age 28. But this was not mentioned to Issei until the time came. Issei already knew of his existence, but not of his location and what he is like. Azazel: well, it's not to interrupt your family moment, but I need to tell you something very serious, Issei. Issei, okay sensei. With a serious and worried face. Azazel, Mr. Haidu, you should also listen to this. The parents accepted and sat in the living room, and so he told them everything that happened in these long 5 years where Issei was devastated but also happy that he has children. Issei, what did I do wrong for them to leave me like this? I gave my life for them, I came back from the dead and they didn't even thank me, it's not fair. Crying. Azazel, I know, but that's how they decided and I'm sorry, they'll call you to undo everything. His parents were disappointed in the girls, and the older ones thought that being more experienced they would act like that, but they were wrong. Issei was now calmer after the bitter drink. Issei, well, there's nothing we can do now, a little resigned, and who was the lucky one? Azazel, a certain Dai. That surprised Issei's parents, and they asked him what he was doing there. Azazel, I don't know the details well, but I only know that the girls have known him for a long time and I think they are already deciding on their wedding, and I also know that he is half dragon and demon. That left Issei and Issei's peers bewildered as to why he is a dragon and demon if he is human. After the talk, Azazel left, and Issei was comforted by his parents, and went to sleep wondering what he will do from now on. A week had already passed where Issei was thinking but at the same time also arranging his future because he had the feeling that something not very nice was going to happen. He also tried to communicate with Drake but nothing. Issei was at home eating with his parents until a magic communication circle notified Issei that he had to appear in the underworld for a meeting. Issei already had an idea, but he could face the bullets for whatever might happen. Issei, ugh, we'll see what happens. Going to the door to leave, his parents asked where he was going, and he told them to the underworld to wish him luck. After teleporting, he arrived at his destination. Upon entering, he noticed how the guards and servants looked at him strangely, but he continued on his way to the room where he opened it and found all the leaders of each faction, the entourages, friends, his fiancées. Some children no older than 6 years old, and an adult chestnut-haired man older than him. Sir Issei, please sit down. Very seriously, to which Issei proceeded to sit down. Sitches, well Issei, we are calling you to say that you are no longer the pillar of the factions and the security as well as the demon of my sister's nobility by decision of the majority vote. He was bewildered and trying to understand why. He turned around. The only one who didn't turn his back on him was Azazel, but the others. Sir Shay, you'll wonder why. It's because after being in a coma you're no longer strong enough to be that, and there's someone better to take your place. Dai steps forward. With a superior face, and Issei couldn't believe what was happening. Sir Shay, well, he will be the one to replace you, and he will be the new husband of all your ex-fiancés. And one more thing, Drake, you can leave as we agreed. We will find you a new carrier. Issei did not understand anything as someone he considered a friend wanted to change him. Drake, I will finally leave this reincarnated human when he has already reached his limit despite having great red cells and the power of Ophis, but his human soul does not allow him to go further. What disappointment. Not like the one whose soul is more accommodating and evolved and coupled with a supernatural being and not a weak human when he was before. Issei, Drake, what's happening? You weren't an inseparable duo, and what's happening with you guys? Don't value everything I did for you. I was just a puppet, and you were pointing at the girls that they didn't care about you in the least. Almost crying from helplessness. Rias, you are no longer useful to us human. You were always thinking about breasts, and my reputation and that of the others was falling, but the only thing you left us are children with blood and cells of great red with the power of Ophis, and Dai is better in every way to be an excellent husband and father. They all confirmed it. Issei did not believe it, and then Drake spoke. Drake, just like they say, my reputation was on the ground with your stupid paid dragon program that devastated me, and I am a powerful dragon, and with it I will go further because I am not like the white a soft Paco, but goodbye hi to Issei. In that, Drake left Issei's body and went to die, and in that Issei felt something strange in his body. He tried to take out his wings, but nothing, and no Ophis power either. In conclusion, he returned to being human demon, but at that moment Beelzebub approached and took the pawn pieces from him and gave them to Rias to put them on Dai. Issei no longer knew what to do, just lower his head, but in that he approached the children and said, Children, you still love me, and among all children, you are not our father, you are a disaster to us, and you are just a human with nothing special. Despite being children, they already knew what was happening due to the influence of their mothers, and they did not regret it. Issei was stunned. Everyone was turning their backs on him, and then Issei said, Issei, well, with this you will leave the supernatural world and you will be sent to the human world. Your memory will not be erased so that you can live with the human fruition, and well, with this we finish. Issei returned to the human world and was with dark eyes and tears. Issei, screaming whyyyyyy. At that point it started to rain and Issei fell to the ground on his knees, and then he started to feel weak from all the extraction of things that were taken from his body, and since he was not at 100% he started to faint. Alone and on the rainy street with no one around him, someone approached with an umbrella and picked him up. Who it will be? Someone who will be their light and hope or their darkness and ruin. Chapter 1. The meeting between teacher and student. Humans are a race considered weak by supernatural beings, but in reality their abilities have not been discovered, much less of an energy that is already inside every human being and that is unknown to supernatural beings, ki, chi, etc. The next day we find an Issei waking up after living the worst part of his life that left him without a reason to continue. What he didn't know was where he was, only that it was not his house. Issei, where am I? Still tired. Then a Castella woman with a ponytail and a karate suit enters. Yuri, good thing you woke up. Issei looks at her, and Yuri calls someone. Yuri, Anakin has already woken up, come on. Then you hear the footsteps of someone who is about to reach the bedroom. It was an older man with a beard and a black suit. Ryo, I see you woke up well, kid, how are you feeling? Issei, yes, thank you, but who are you and where am I? I ask. Ryo, well, my name is Ryo Sakasaki and this is my sister Yuri. She makes a peace sign. You are in our house, which is also a dojo that we just opened in this place, and we are the owners, so we had to be here for the inauguration, and then we will return to the United States, precisely South Town. Issei, then we are still in Ko, Japan. Ryo, exactly boy, but one question, how did you get to be in that state, lying in the rain? Issei, well, I don't know if you believe me, but I'll tell you. First of all, you believe in the supernatural. Ryo, you are referring to everything related to mythologies and religions. The truth is that we have several, I wouldn't say many, experiences related to that topic. Issei, really? Ryo nods. Then I'll tell you my story and tell you everything I went through until I was left with nothing. The Sakasaki brothers were very disappointed and at the same time serious, thinking about how to answer him in the most mature way to encourage him. Ryo, well, I understand your case. It's tragic but at the same time understandable. That left Issei confused and he asked for explanations. Ryo, first of all, you are not from that environment, you were just a piece in their lives in which they had to learn if they can learn to value the things and situations that surround them or not. In the end the result was not what you expected, but that's life. There may be people who are truly worth fighting for without receiving anything in return, and if they did not value you, you should walk away because it makes no sense to want to insist if they do not understand. Besides, nothing binds you to them. Issei replied that he is not either sanguine nor sentimental. That left him thinking, and in that. Issei, then what can I do? Ryo, focus on your life. Sometimes you don't have to live long enough to enjoy life. Take care of your parents, and if in the future you get a family, it will come when you are more than ready. Issei, thank you for everything, Mr. Ryo, for giving me a clear idea of what I have to do. One question is, how do you know about the supernatural? The brothers looked at each other, and Ryo answered. Ryo, well, we practice a martial art that masters the use of ki. The martial art is Kyokyujinryu karate. Ryo then gave him a proposal. Ryo, would you like to practice Kyokyujinryu? That left Issei thinking until he replied. Issei, I would like to, but what do I have to do? Ryo, well, the first thing is that I won't teach you here in Japan but in the United States. That's why you would like to go to South Town to overcome your limits. Issei, yes, but I'll have to ask my parents and process my papers to finish my studies there. At that, Issei got up to go with his parents. Ryo, well, you have until tomorrow, Issei, to think about it and decide why we're leaving tomorrow night. Issei nodded and said goodbye to Ryo and Yuri. Issei, thanks for taking care of me. See you tomorrow. He left. Yuri, take care, Issei. Ryo, good luck, kid. Issei was heading towards his house when he saw someone with the emblem of each gremry, and quickened his pace where the guy was retreating and arrived and saw his parents crying because he went to ask him. Issei, parents, what happened? Mickey, sniff sniff, they kicked us out of the house and we have to vacate it tomorrow. Issei, it can't be possible. With anger. Gora, son, what are we going to do? Crying. Issei, parents, getting your attention, I have an idea. What if we get out of this city and country? I met some very good people who told me that they were going to teach me a martial art that surpassed my limits, and I had to travel to the United States, more specifically to Southtown. I was going to tell you, but in this situation we have no other choice, because if I leave you here something could happen to you. Parents, son, but we need jobs. Issei, don't worry, I'll tell Mr. Ryo to help us so we can get ahead. Angry, all this is because of Dai, who left his parents with surprised faces, and so Issei explained to them everything that happened when he was called to the underworld. After that, Issei had already made a decision. He would not return to this city, much less see them again. He was going to look after his future and his family. A new Issei is born. Chapter 2: The beginning of overcoming limits. Human beings have something much more important than themselves, their gift. And with that phrase we begin. After the Hayate family ended up thrown out on the streets, Issei takes on the task of going to find his new teacher to tell him that he will go with him, but at the same time he will take his parents, so he can live in peace. Arriving at the Ryo dojo. Issei, Mr. Ryo knocking on the door. After that someone opens the door. Ryo, boy, I see you've already decided what your decision is. Issei, I'll go with you, but... Then he proceeded to tell what happened with his parents. Ryo, I see. Thinking and leaving Issei with the uncertainty of what he will answer. Well, okay, I can help you get settled until you get a house and a job, but with one condition, that you focus on your training because it will be rough. Issei, yes, master. With a bow. Ryo, well then we'll leave tonight. Take care of any pending matters you have because from now on your new life will begin. Issei, yes. After he went home to tell his parents, and starting to pack, then Issei went to the Kwa Academy to ask for his papers so he could study. He had already arrived at the academy, reaching the director's room. Note: we know that Issei has not finished high school for all the years. After receiving his papers and not meeting anyone he didn't want, and that they were at the university that was connected to the academy, he left. The afternoon came and Issei was already at home preparing to leave, carrying suitcases to meet his teacher, taking a taxi and looking back. Issei's mind, thanks for everything Kwa, it's not a goodbye but a see you later, taking the taxi. In Grigori. Azazel and Vala were in the main office discussing Issei. Azazel, I mean, it's possible that everyone did that to that poor boy who gave his all so that they could have a peaceful life. With clear anger in his words. Valley, yes, this is unacceptable that someone struggling between life and death is paid in this way, and especially his children who have left him aside. I hope they do not regret what they have done to him. Albion, that damn Red left that poor boy for his own brother, just for thinking about his titles and that he is better behaved. Maybe we are celestial dragons, but we do not abandon a comrade either. I hope that the decision he made does not have repercussions. The three of them were angry and thinking about how Issei would be. Then a magic circle appeared in front of them. Circle, Azazel-sensei. Surprising those present. Azazel, Issei, how are you? Vala, Issei, without listening to you, how are you? Both of them with noticeable satisfaction but at the same time, worried. Issei, sorry for the delay but I've been busy, well to the point because I have almost no magic to maintain communication due to the little magic I have left. I called to tell you that I'm leaving. I hope you understand, and I don't know when we'll see each other again, but rest assured that when it happens we won't have a few drinks as friends. Azazel, where will you go? With obvious concern. Valley, yes Issei, what happened to our fight? Issei, I can't tell you but I know that I will return, stronger and more prepared. I'm sorry, Vala, our fight can wait. As you know, I no longer have Drake, but rest assured that I will give it to you. Valley, okay then, I have nothing left to say but good luck. Azazel, okay then, this is a see you later, we will be waiting for you. Issei, yes, thanks for everything, see you later, the magic circle disappearing. Listen while reading. From here on. Vala, what do you think will happen to the future Azazel? Azazel, I don't know, but I know he'll give us a big surprise, just like he's always done. Valley, with a smile. If he is always like this, I will wait for you, my rival and friend. Azazel looking out the window with a cigarette. Azazel's mind, I hope that when you return you show them what you can do, I'll be waiting for you, boy. At an airport, we see 3 Castellanos and 2 brothers. Taking the plane to the United States South Town. On the plane. Rio, well Issei, here begins your new path, are you ready? Issei, yes sir Rio. With enthusiasm. Rio, that's the attitude, well rest and enjoy the trip, you too, Mr. Hayada. Issei parents, yes, thank you very much. At that Issei told his parents. Issei, here begins a new life, let's make an effort. His parents nod if they settled down to rest because the plane was taking off. At that, Issei looks towards the plane window. Issei's mind, this will be a clean slate for me and my family. I hope we never see Vala and Azazel again. Sensei, take care of yourselves. He settles down to lie down and looks up at the sky and exclaims loudly in his mind. Here begins the journey to surpass my limits. Closing his eyes to rest. What awaits Issei and his family in this new cycle of their lives? Cap 3, the new successor of the Kyokyujinryu. Don't limit your challenges, challenge your limits. United States South Town. Issei and his parents had arrived at their destination to face a new challenge in their lives. After arriving at the Sakasaki house, while they adapted to their new environment, they prepared to have dinner and rest after the long trip. Issei, wow, the city is very beautiful. Issei's parents, no way. That's what Rio is talking about. Rio, well, I hope you are comfortable and we will prepare some bedrooms for you to sleep in. The Hayada thanked the gesture and proceeded to unpack, then Rio called Issei. Rio, well Issei, tomorrow we begin your training and we will help you enroll in a high school so you can continue finishing your studies. Issei, yes master. After that Issei proceeded to sleep because tomorrow will be a busy day. The next morning the Hayada family had breakfast to look for work and get a high school diploma to finish in a short period of time and enter a university. They had already found decent jobs late, not with a high salary, but Issei's parents and Issei himself had a high school to finish. Then Issei was called to the dojo where Rio was waiting for him and told him that he was going to introduce him to people. Issei had arrived and found the Sakasaki brothers and other people. These are a blonde woman who was a waitress, a young blonde woman who looked almost her age, 1 or 2 years younger, a black-haired man with a beard, a young black-haired man who looked like him, and finally an older man. At that Rio speaks. Rio, well Issei, first of all I will introduce you to those present. The blondes are my wife and my daughter, their names are King and Emily. They welcomed. The black-haired men are my brother-in-law, best friend and nephew, they are Robert and Leonardo, my sister Yuri's husband and son, they welcomed. He is a student of my father and mine, Marco. Greeting. And finally, the creator of Kyokyujinryu, teacher and my father Takuma. Takuma, nice to meet you boy, I see you're here to be trained by my son, I expect a lot from you. Robert, I see you found your successor Rio. Giving them a thumbs up. King, what am I going to do with you? You've already involved this young man. With disappointment and sarcasm. Rio, I'm sorry, but I feel like this boy will surpass me and put me high in Kyokyujinryu. But well Issei, this will be your first entrance ceremony and where you will thoroughly meet your classmates. Emily and Leonardo are trained by my wife, my sister and Robert where they are taught in a particular style, Emily's Yuri style and King and Leonardo's Tiger style Robert. He agreed. And you will be instructed by me in the Dragon style. Also in Kyokyujinryu Karate. Issei, yes master. Rio, well, with this you will be given your suit and start ribbon. I expect a lot from you, Issei, giving him his karate suit. At that, Issei proceeded to put it on. It is worth mentioning that Rio told everyone everything about the life that Issei suffered. After that, Issei arrived with the suit on. Rio, it suits you well, I see that it is made for this. In that moment, Emily and Leonardo approach Issei. Emily, I hope we get along well, Issei. With a smile and a peace sign characteristic of Yuri. Leonardo, with his fist pointing out for a bump. I hope to meet you one day to see our skills and surpass ourselves. Issei, yes, I will look forward to it. Those present watched the trio with a smile. They saw the birth of the new Art of Fighting team. Everyone went to sleep because tomorrow the real training for the new trio would begin. The next morning Rio woke the three of them up very early, and they began to feel the true hell in their own flesh and souls. Where they started stretching with their suits on to avoid fractures and tears. They started with some light exercises to adapt their bodies to the overload. After some time, the real exercises began, where Rio was strict but at the same time passionate. That has not gone away, where the young people were subjected to inhuman training, doing several repetitions, one after another. After about 7 hours, 3 young men were seen lying on the ground, all tired. Rio, because to continue. Issei, but master, this is inhumane. Can't we let each other rest, please? Emily, yes, father, this is excessive. Complaining. Leonardo, uncle, please time out, we can't give it any more. Exhausted. Rio, stop complaining, this is the beginning of your training. I'll see when it's time to rest. Strict. Understood. All 3 afraid. Yes, master. To continue with your training? Issei, what did I get myself into? This reminds me of when I was training with Tannen, but it's like starting from scratch and I still have a lot left to do. With tears. Rio, you said something, Issei. Issei, scared. Nothing, master. Rio, I hope so, you two keep going. The cousins were also crying. Then he said it. Rio, and for complaining we will go out for a run so that they learn and do not question anything. The 3 of them, no. Their screams were heard throughout the dojo, where the other students got screams and Issei's parents heard. Mickey, it was a good idea to let Issei do that training and I don't want to see him suffer. With concern. Goro, don't worry, I know Issei will overcome this, but at the same time it scares him a bit. With chills from the screams of the 3 young men. Ending the day and the 3 of them more than devastated. The next day. Rio went to wake them up at the same time. They were still exhausted. They stood up with tears in their eyes because they didn't ask to rest very well. Where every day was hell and they didn't see the light, they felt like their souls were detaching themselves from their bodies. Then Rio said, Rio, well, at this rate they will progress quickly. That's why we will go to the mountains and I will also go to train. I hope you will keep up with me. The 3 of them looked like dead people with a comical image of a ghost coming out of their mouths. Arriving at the mountain, they began to train for Issei and Leonardo. The training was harder and Emily less rigorous because despite everything she is still a woman and the female body is more fragile than the male, where he made them break rocks, carry them, meditate between a waterfall and hold the tons of water falling little by little. Issei more with his fists, but he also reinforced his kicks so as not to be unbalanced. Leonardo the legs because of his father's style, but also fists, because later he will pass with his father for special training to him. Emily both fists and legs, because like Leonardo he will pass with Yuri and his mother. And that was how every day went by, months and years passed. Issei finished high school and headed to college, where he decided to study to be a chef because he wanted to cook exquisite things for his parents, for all the sacrifices they have made for him, and nothing else happens. It should be noted that Issei and his parents left the Sakasaki house to move to their new house that his parents obtained with their work and savings. Not without first thanking him, but that is if Issei was still continuing with his training, that is if he was not going to be free. A year you have passed. We can see Issei at his desk doing his homework. Issei's mind, so many things have happened since I got here. I keep improving and I'm happy. My parents are in good health and I have good friends. I hope this way of life continues, but I know there will be problems and I will be prepared to overcome them. Then he remembers two people. I wonder how they are doing. Azazel Sensei and Vala. Elsewhere we see an older Azazel and Vala having coffee and discussing matters, when they are notified of an urgent faction meeting in the underworld. Vala, what would be so important to summon all the factions? Azazel, I don't know, but I feel like it won't be pretty. Well, let's go. Vala nods. They get up and head towards the meeting. Chapter 4, The Meeting. The top is not reached by surpassing others but by surpassing yourself. We are in the underworld at the Mao Castle. All the factions were there with 3 representatives and their bodyguards. Heaven, Michael, Gabriel and Uriel with Delio, Griseda and Irina. Hell, Circe, Seraphil and Beelzebub with Dai, Gremry entourage, Citri entourage, Serorg Baal and the Phoenix brothers. Grigori, Azazel, Penemu and Baraquil with Vala, Levan and the Pendragon brothers. Olympus, Zeus, Athena and Ares with their guards. Egyptians, Osiris, Isis and Anubis with their bodyguards. Nordics, Odin, Frigg and Thor with Roswise and 2 more Valkyries. Yokais, Isaka with Kuroka and 2 more guards. Japanese, Susano, Tsukuyomi and Amaterasu with guards. Aztecs, Quetzalcoatl with his guards. China, Niwa, Son Goku and Shinon with guards. Vampires, Amonild's parents with Amonilde, Gasper and a guard. It should be noted that all the girls are pregnant again. They were all gathered together to talk about a certain topic. Circe, well, we called them together with a serious face to talk about the Chaos Brigade. When he said that name, everyone tensed up and got worried. Zuz, how is it possible that that organization is still active if we saw how we destroyed them? Don't you see how many soldiers we lost, and we are barely recovering? Circe, I understand very well, but it seems that there are still remnants of that organization, and it seems that they are devising a plan to attack us again, and we do not know when. It could be years or months, but we will be on the lookout for everything that may happen. Everyone agreed with what was discussed, and after that he was invited to the wedding of all the girls with the pillar of the factions, and they gladly accepted. And the gods and the highest faction leaders congratulated the bride and groom, and congratulated Dai, who considered him quite a man. Those who disagreed were Azazel and Vale, who were disconcerted because they had already forgotten about Issei as if he had never existed. After a celebration of raising wine glasses, those present left. In a place far from the others, Dai was present with a strange magic circle, undetectable to those present, and Dai spoke. Dai, I hear you all rise in Sama. It seems you have already realized what the plan is. With an evil face. Rise in Sama. If this is more than excellent, you are doing an excellent job. I need you to gain more confidence to execute part 2 of the plan, after eliminating the main link. Dai, yes, I will have fun with them for a while longer. When they are in the palm of my hand they will feel all guilty, ha 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 ha. Rise in Sama. Yes, do it. My best creation and soldier. Finish them off. And what best way to finish off an enemy when you first have to attack from the inside out? At that, Dai hangs up and retreats to the main room, changing his fake attitude. It should be noted that Drake was asleep and Dai put a spell on him so he wouldn't hear anything. With Rise in Sama. How splendid, these idiots threw away their best soldier just because they believed someone they didn't know. Soon they will feel despair and I will take revenge on each and every one of you. With his cup of tea, laughing like a maniac. After almost everyone was about to leave and only the Maos, girls and the Grigori people remained. Circe, Azazel, until when will you accept Dai as a student and ally? Azazel, you know I already have a student and I won't abandon her. Circe, leave that stupid human without any potential. Rias, if Azazel Sensei doesn't see that Dai is a spectacular man and future father and husband of all of us. Touching his Brienne. Here is a future strong girl that disgusting human is not going to give me and future sister of my splendid son. Azazel, how sad you make me laugh at all. I thought you wanted Issei but nothing, you voted for him to his fate, but I hope you don't regret it in the future. Rias, I don't think so because I have a very promising future, isn't that true, girls? Girls, yes. Azazel, don't hold on to the past. My ex-brother wasn't worthy of such power, and I don't want to mess with you, so let's make peace. Extending his hand. Azazel, I don't like you very much, and I won't change Issei for someone I don't know. I saw him achieve his goals, and I hope that when something happens to us, he'll be there to protect what is right. That left everyone with an existential doubt. You know what, I'd better leave. Let's go, Vala. Vala, I hope you're happy and don't look for Issei when everything is wrong. Taking Levon's hand, if she's his girlfriend. Thus retreating. Already arriving at Grigori without Penemu because he stayed with Dai, they entered the office with Livia. Azazel, how exhausting. I didn't think that the Chaos Brigade would continue their old ways. I'll have to reinforce security and check my soldiers so that they don't betray us. Vala, yes, but the worst thing is that they are going to get married in a week. I hope they don't regret it, and neither do those children. Livia, yes, ever since Vie-kun told me how they treated Issei-san, I didn't know what to do. I love him as a good friend who helped me get to know Vie-kun, but I hope they don't look for him and let him live his life in peace wherever he is. Azazel, well, we have to get to work. I'll leave it to you, Vala. Vali, I didn't think those bastards would manage to survive. Azazel, well then we say goodbye, thank you for coming. Both, you can't do it all for a friend. So they left. In another part of the world we can see an identity that is awakening, and some people in black who will be. Chapter 5, The Secrets of Kyokyujinryu. The first step towards personal improvement is self-confidence. Southtown, United States. It had been about 3 years since Issei, 25, had finished his culinary career and started working in a restaurant to gain experience, and thus be able to open his own restaurant. After a day of work, Issei was arriving home where he is received by his parents, and went to take a shower and prepare the dinner that he promised his parents to make today. After Issei finished his career, they were more than happy with his effort reflected in their son. Already in the dining room, they were having dinner. Mickey, son, this is more than delicious, I can't stop eating. Gore, yes, the fact that you have studied to serve us these dishes is more than sublime, thank you are. Issei, it's nothing, I did it because I promised that the day I'm no longer with you I would please you with dishes like these. Issei's parents were crying. Despite having gone through everything they did to him, he came out ahead and never gave up, and little by little he is gaining a name in the culinary world. After eating a delicious dinner they went to the living room. Issei sat until he received a call from his master. Issei, yes master. Rio, well Issei, tomorrow you have your day off, I hope you come. I know there is no training, but tomorrow you will move on to the next phase of your training, and tomorrow with Emily and Leonardo I will teach you the secrets of Kyokyujinryu, like key control. Issei, yes master, I'll be there tomorrow. Kongando. Maki, who was a son? Issei, my master wants me to go tomorrow to teach me the secrets of Kyokyujinryu. Kora, but that karate training is more than a normal one because of everything you have done, and you already have a very resistant body. Issei, yes, but he told me that the next stage would continue to surpass my limits. I already want it to arrive tomorrow. I'm very excited. After talking about a challenge, they went to sleep, but Issei is very excited. He looks like a child when they take him somewhere. The next morning, Issei was waking up, preparing his things like his karate suit and his headband. He's still wearing white, but his headband is colored. He says goodbye to his parents and heads to the dojo. When he arrives, he meets his friends, almost brothers. And they greet each other. Issei, hello, how are you? Emily, good thanks Issei. Leonardo, excellent, you are more than prepared. Issei, me too, yesterday the master said not to teach the secrets of Kyokyujinryu, and so I almost didn't sleep. Emily, don't you think you're a little exaggerated, Issei? Leonardo, yes, you should have slept well. It's good that we've improved, but at a slow pace. Issei, I can't, it's just exciting. They both see him with a drop on his forehead. After putting on their suits, they went to the dojo. When they entered, Rio was very serious, which made the three of them somewhat tense. Rio, please sit down. And they continued to do so. Rio, well, as you may know, the Kyokugenryu style is characterized by surpassing human limits, but the body reaches a limit after training, and for that we need to reinforce it, and thus enhance it. Therefore, in these next years we will begin to awaken the ki in each one of you. Your bodies are already more than prepared to gather the energy of Gaia and expel it in waves or projectiles of ki to then unleash it in a constant beam of ki, but for that there will be a long way to go to achieve item. But I will help you along with the entire family to channel more and more ki so that you transform it and expel it in large quantities. These did. Rio, well, the next thing is that humans have like an internal blockage that no matter how much we train, we can't release all that power, or what is best known as bringing out all our potential without letting it take over our power. So we will have mental and spiritual training. And when they achieve that, they will be awarded the title of Mr. Karate, a state in which the mind is in a focus of absolute seriousness. The three of them were impressed. They could only achieve this with proper training to improve themselves. Rio, with this it is more than understood. All three, yes, master. To continue with the training where each one was trained by each master until they were able to handle the ki. A year had already passed where they were in constant physical and mental training in order not to neglect any. After all the efforts, the three were able to manifest their ki, and thus they would focus more and more on managing and mastering their ki. When they had mastered their ki, Rio, he continued to teach them techniques in which they had to reinforce their body with ki in order to deliver blows with more force and impact. Over time they improved where they entered tournaments to begin to gain experience in the fights of how each individual moved as they found openings to connect kicks or punches. Some time had passed and they were improving as well as their private lives. Issei continued to improve his culinary skills to create new flavors. Emily studied fashion sophistication and used herself as a model to sponsor her creations and gain clients. Leonardo dedicated himself to business like his father, who inherited the company to him, but he must be prepared and frank to take the reins of a large group of people. They kept improving until they achieved the green belt. In a place more precisely in the central area of South Town, some offices were deciding to hold a tournament for special people to see who was the best team. The new art of fighting will be born. Chapter 6: The Invitations to the Tournament. If you stop trying, you will be closer to failure than success. In an office there were some gentlemen who, from what they could see, were from an association with a lot of money and who had their eyes on the heirs of the Kyokugenryu style and another heir of another individual who had certain pending matters. And the individual was Issei, but this one was older, although he kept himself in very good shape, and next to him was Billy who, despite all the time he had passed, did not stop being in shady business. Issei, I want you to send the invitation to these young people. I need them to be able to take over other parts of the United States and also to give Rio, Terry, and my bastard son Rock what they deserve. What a great way to attack your students. Billy, yes sir, I will call my son to help me find them and deliver their invitation. After that they got to work where they managed to locate them and left them their invitation to participate. Issei, for his part, was arriving from his workday when his parents called him into the dining room to give him a letter which had a wax seal. Issei received it, but it seemed strange to him, and even more so because of the acronym that he had AG. He didn't know, and he better go communicate with his master because he knows South Town well. The phone was ringing until his teacher answered. Issei, master, sorry for the call, but I received an invitation with AG and I don't know if you know. Rio, so the letter reached you too? With anger. Issei, yes, how did you know? Do you know who it belongs to? Rio, yes, I know him very well. His name is Issei, and he is a very influential mobster from here. We have had some disagreements in the past, but I don't know what he wants this time because Leonardo also received the invitation. Issei, also to the one who thinks that Issei is plotting. Rio, I don't know, but what I do know is that the content of the letter says that you are invited to a tournament, and to find out, you will have to participate. Issei, okay master, but why didn't they send Emily? Rio, it's for the best, she can't get involved in these matters yet, she has a lot to train and improve. You two have already received adequate training and I'm sure you're ready to start gaining experience on your own, and more than this tournament is not going to be like the previous ones. There will be opponents who will use powers that you couldn't use in the tournaments we went to. Issei, okay then I'll see you tomorrow to talk about that tournament. Rio, yes please then rest until tomorrow. Issei, yes master. Hanging up to think later what will happen this time. I don't know but I will have to be prepared. Mickey, what did your teacher tell you, son? Issei, he knows what the invitation is and that he wants me to talk to him tomorrow in more detail. Mickey, son, be very careful. I don't want to see you suffer with what you've already been through. I can't bear another scare of thinking about losing you. Sniff sniff. Issei went to hug his mother. Issei, don't worry, I know how to take care of myself, and I've trained to defend you all, and I don't plan on leaving you so soon. Gora, it seems like trouble always comes to you, son, but I know you can do it. Just promise that you'll come back to us. Issei, yes father I promise. Then they went to sleep to talk to their teacher tomorrow. The next day Issei went to the dojo to have a talk about the things that are going to be done for participation in the tournament. Issei, I'm here, master, as you asked. Hello Leonardo. Leonardo, hi Issei, I see we're going to get into something very big. Issei, yes, I'm both excited and worried at the same time. Rio, well, I called you to talk about how you will enter. Apparently you have to enter with 3 members and since there are 2 of you, Marco will go with you. Marco, it will be a pleasure to fight by your side, guys. Both of us too. With a karate salute. Rio, I need you to prepare to participate in the tournament. We will have some more intense sessions. I know he is lacking, but I am sure that his progress is going better than Robert and I when we were starting. For now, we will start with stretching and repetitions to conclude with ki accumulation to then expel him. Both, yes, master. And so begins the preparation of Issei and Leonardo, who no longer complained like in the beginning because after getting used to it their bodies assimilated the pain. On the other hand, Emily was training with Yuri to improve and not fall behind, while Yuri was thinking of a way for Emily to have more experience, and thus improve. Emily and Yuri, it's true that Issei and Leonardo will participate in a tournament, and they will be able to use their powers without having to hold back. Yuri, yes, but don't worry, they are getting stronger as time goes by, don't get discouraged, you will catch up with them very soon. Cheer her up. Emily, yes, I want to be recognized so I can fight alongside them. With motivation. In another part of the dojo Rio is dialing a phone. Rio, well, Terry, how are you? Terry, oh, it's been so long since I heard from you. What happened to you? Rio, busy with the dojo, how is the family? Terry, well, I have Mari and the lovebirds Andy and May at my side, but what's the reason for your call? Rio, I just wanted to ask you if your son received a tournament invitation from Issei. This made Terry more serious. Terry, if the bastard wants to appear, I don't know what it is. I was thinking of sending him to participate in what Rock and I are investigating. Rio, I was thinking the same thing, it seems we'll have to put our disciples to the test. Terry, disciples, don't tell me you've already found one. Rio, if his name is Issei and he's on the right track, it seems like he's becoming like me, ha ha ha. Terry, what great news, I hope he and my son get together. Rio, rest assured and I hope you beat him like I did with you, ha ha ha. Terry, ha ha ha, we'll see about that. Rio, well, goodbye, send my regards to your family. Terry, same. After hanging up, Rio headed to the dojo where he left Robert with the boys to continue training them and teach them new things. We will never know what will happen in the tournament, and who will win between Terry's son and Issei. Issei couples. Maybe love is about finding that person who holds your hand when you're about to fall, who gives you one last meal when you're about to faint, and who tells you I love you every morning. First, to clarify, Issei and Emily will not be a couple. They see each other as brothers because since they met they have had a brotherly affection. Issei's partners will be 3, one that connects him with the human world and another with the supernatural. These 3 women are from the races that Issei did not have when he was in the supernatural, and they are: Name Mei-chin. Age 26 years old. Issei meets her after the tournament at a restaurant she visited. Race human. Nationality China, Beijing. Profession or occupation international chef and businesswoman. Likes: Issei, flowers, baking, singing, animals, and Tai Chi. Dislikes: presumptuous men, cockroaches, and hypocrisy. Favorite food: chicken wok with vegetables. Sports he dominates: golf. Powers: chi or ki, telepathy, telekinesis, aerokinesis, and geokinesis. Fighting style: Tai Chi. Name: Melantari. Age: 26 years old. She is very young for her race. Issei met her during one of his training sessions in the mountains. Race: elf. Nationality: American and Mexican. This happened when she met Issei to be with him in the human world, using her magic to hide her ears and make herself look like a human. In addition to the fact that the forest or natural area where their tribe is from covers a large part of the United States and Mexico. And in order to move around, she chose to obtain both nationalities. Profession or occupation: housewife. Because of her beauty, Issei does not want to expose her to the working world for being abused or harassed, but she does go out shopping, socializing, and taking walks with Issei and Mei. Likes: Gaia, Mother Earth. Issei and Ninyo. With her he has a relationship before meeting Issei because male elves are scarce and they felt that all elves were for them, but everything changed when they met Issei, who was a human whom they did not know because their parents only told them stories about humans, his family, his dog, and classical or instrumental music. Dislikes: destruction, injustice, and evil people. Favorite food: vegan dishes made by Issei and Mei. Sport he dominates: none. Powers: elemental magic, spirit control, telepathy, and telekinesis. Fighting style: Tai Chi learned from Mei. To defend themselves if they are not there. Name: Ninyo. Age: 26 years old. He is the same age as Elantari. He also met Issei in the mountains with Elantari. Race: dark elf. Nationality: same as Elantari. Profession or occupation: kindergarten teacher. Likes: Gaia, Issei, and Elantari, as well as the wonders that humans and children have created. Disgust: conceited and hypocritical men and bad actions. Favorite food: Issei and Mei dishes. Sport he dominates: gymnastics. Powers: dark magic, telepathy, and rituals. Fighting style: with bow. Chapter 7: Doubts. There are doubts that kill and answers that kill more. We did not find a more specific Grigori in Azazel's office, who was very thoughtful about certain events that are taking place, such as that very valuable information about his experiments is being leaked by spies who do not know why they need those documents. For this, he would have to call a meeting through magic circles with the most important beings of the Alliance. After everyone is in tune, Azazel spoke. Azazel: well, I inform you that very strange things have been happening in my territory regarding the experiments that I am doing, and especially the documents that Michael provided me regarding the Skremgers that he left behind. Michael: how is that possible if Grigori is very sure, and even more so with your technology? Azazel: I don't know, but I feel like there are spies. At this point, the other factions have been reporting disappearances of things and more that gather large amounts of energy. At this point, everyone decided to reinforce their security and carry out checks on soldiers. Azazel: well, another topic I would like to address is that there is a very large anomaly in the human world, and I don't know exactly when the energy will be unleashed, but I would say about 10 to 15 years. We will have to be alert. With the topics discussed in depth, the meeting ended. In another place, the house of the former Hayadu, all the ex-wives of the brown-haired boy, their children, and Dai were already staying because they are 1 month away from giving birth to their second children by Dai, and their mothers along with guards were in the residence. Rias: those stupid humans left the house in good condition, but well, we need to stay with Dai-kun to have our children and continue with our lives together and our professions. Akeno: Rias is very excited. You are already waiting for your daughter, and so am I. My girl is already on the way. Rias: and by the way, where are the children? Akeno: with her father and mother in the backyard playing. Rias: I knew Dai would be a great father. Well, let's go. After that they arrived and sat on a bench watching the scene, but what they didn't know was what Dai was thinking. Die stupid if they knew that their end will come in time along with the factions, and when everything is ready I will leave them to then kill them with all these monsters and those they carry in their belly to later use them as test subjects, and the women of satisfaction for my colleagues. Ha ha ha, how exciting, but I need to continue with the plan. I will have to put up with them, but I will use them in my own way so that I can be the most powerful being and conquer the world at my whim. But then his children talk to him, and he puts on his act and continues with his actions. But what she didn't notice was that a maid saw her evil face holding her mouth with both hands, but she couldn't say anything because she needed proof or else they would kill her. On the other hand, in an unknown location. Base of the Chaos Brigade. They were in a laboratory with Rias and included separated from an experiment, more specifically a screen gear, but this one was different. It had an enormous capacity to store a soul with a lot of power. Rias, how are we doing with the destruction project? Scientist. Well, Rias and Sama, we are on a good path, and more with the plans that were kidnapped we have an advantage, so it will not take us as long as it was planned, which was 20 to 25 years with trial and error. Now it was shortened to between 10 or 15 years, but it is an insane advance. Rias, great, I hope they also adapt it so he can manage it. Included. Rias and Sama is sure that he will not betray you. Rias, no, that boy is in the palm of my hand, and even though I trained him to infiltrate the underworld, he is now my best creation. Included. Yes, Rias and Sama, you are always one step ahead. Rias, yes, and they have already verified the anomalies in the human world. Included. Yes, but we don't have to be worried, it will be undermined anyway. Included leaves Rias and leaves the laboratory to go to his office. Rias, it seems that everything is going as planned, and especially that stupid brat who caused me to change my plans, and we ended up the losers, is no longer there. Now only my grandson remains, and even more so when they find out about Dai's disappointment. Ha 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 ha. What are they building in Riasvin's lab, and what is that anomaly? Chapter 8. Meeting a rival and a friend. Never give explanations. Your friends don't need them, and your enemies won't believe you anyway. We find ourselves in an abandoned factory where each team was summoned at different times to fight in different places in South Town. The Art of Fighting group was notified that their first match would be in a cage-type setting where they would have to face boxers. This is how the fight began, in which Leonardo was the first to easily defeat his opponent. To then start with Marco, who faced his young master, who without much effort was able to defeat him as he was very confident in his abilities. And finally we have Issei, who was already prepared to face him, and thus began the fight where Issei was progressing, and to end his encounter he gave him a blow with ki that left his opponent surprised. With that he left his opponent unconscious and with a kind of burn on his stomach as a result of the impact. After what happened, Issei went to check on his opponent to see if he had killed him, and nothing serious happened, just a broken rib. Issei felt relieved because when he fights he concentrates a lot on his combat, that he has no mercy. That's what his master taught him, to give it his all if your opponent requires it. He approached his companions, who congratulated him and asked him if he was okay, and he answered yes, that there was no problem, thinking that the training had borne fruit because his body was becoming more and more resistant without using his ki to enhance it, only his own physical strength. On the other hand, a fight was taking place between a young blonde man and a street fighter who knew jujitsu, which was about to end, and with a young blonde power wave, also leaving his rival knocked out and with his clothes torn. Then another young brown-haired man approached him and said, "Stephen, well done Frank, you were splendid. It's not for nothing that you're a Bogart like me." Ha ha ha, he was laughing and Frank was sweating. But then a blonde-haired adult approached. "Rock, great nephew, you're improving. I see that my brother is raising you well, especially with your mother, who is a little strict." That left Frank with chills, because if he made his mother angry, she would apply a submission hold on him. Note, let's not all make ourselves think that Terry and Rock look more like brothers than father and addictive are. Furthermore, Issei's style is a basic karate with foundations in ki. It still doesn't use the special movements of Kyokyujinryu. The day had already passed, and the teams already had 2 fights each, and in a while they would stay in a hotel. Issei's team stayed in their rooms to take a shower and then meet in Marco's room to talk on the phone with Rio. Then the call comes in and they answer. "Rio, how did it go?" I hope it went well for you. Marco, well, master, the boys were excellent. The opponents got better and better with each fight. The level of demand is improving. You can feel the tension increasing. Rio, very well. Well, moving on to another topic. What did you think of your first experience in a tournament where you encounter guys with special abilities? Issei, great master. It's very exciting and you can use our ki without having to repress ourselves from using them, and more so since there are no rules in between that stop you from committing a fault, because it's more about seeing how much your rival, or us, can last. It's more of a street fight without quarter where martial arts are used for their true purpose in terms of the violence they have. But I also know that they are not to be used against people who have done nothing wrong or to make fun of them, but to defend the defenseless or ourselves if required. Leonardo, the same thing Issei said. These battles are interesting and you can show your skills more strongly, which leaves me with a sweet taste and I look forward to the next fights. Rio, that's what I wanted to hear. They are improving both physically and mentally. And that's even though when they started they were clumsy kids, ha ha ha. Both, don't be hard on us, master, he said angrily towards his master, leaving Marco with a few laughs. Rio, well, leaving this aside, don't forget why they are there. I'll leave them to you, and one more thing, have fun and give it your all. All three, yes, master. Once the call was over, they went to sleep to have their other meetings. The next morning they went out to take their respective matches, which lasted almost a week, where every day there were matches and the level was increasing. In another part there were people in front of monitors watching the fights, and more specifically in two teams to focus on Jess, who was watching how his son finished and scored with the last of his opponents. Jess, well, it seems that these two teams will face each other and my stupid son came. Well, this will be exciting. Looking at two monitors where the two teams were. The next day, both teams would be notified to get ready because their fight would take place in an hour in a factory which was planned so that they would not cause damage to the surroundings. After an hour, the fighters were in the fight area, which was a surprise, and the older ones had a look of joy because they were going to fight and they could not stop containing their excitement. Rock, who would have thought that we would see each other before reaching the final fight, especially with you being Marco? Marco, Rock Howard, the very same one who brings you here, and let me imagine those young people are Terry and Andy's sons. Rock, yes, but I see that you also brought Robert's son, but I don't know the other young man. Marco, he is Issei, he is Rio's apprentice, his disciple. Rock, I see, so that Rio already found a successor to keep up with him when he had his daughter, but well, let the meeting begin. The teams separated to start, and choose who would go first, and that asked Issei. Issei, master, meet that blonde man and the two who come with him. Marco, that's right, he is Rock, Terry's brother, Rio's rival, and they are the sons, one of Terry and the other of his other brother, but by blood, Andy, who specializes in ninjutsu. Those will be their opponents. I'll take care of Rock. You won't be able to defeat him. You have much more experience than him and more power. Issei and Leonardo, okay. Marco, well, the first one to go will be Leonardo. It seems that Andy's son will go. Be careful, Leo, this will be the toughest battle. You will have to give it your all and even more. Leonardo, yes, master, I will give my best. In those, Issei approaches him and says, Issei, do your best because I don't want to make fun of you, haha. That left Leonardo with an angry face, but he saw how Issei gave him a thumbs up and he reciprocated to get ready and enter. On the other hand, on the Fatal Fury side they were planning who they were going to send. Rock, okay, go Steven, I hope you do what you know how to do, but be careful, we don't know who will enter. Steven, yeah man, I'm focused so I can go in. Frank, this is very exciting, we will finally fight with everything we have, I already want to go in. Rock, calm down, you look a lot like your father, they always get excited about fighting. With that begins the first fight, where the two opponents face each other. Leonardo, I'm going to win this fight with my fast kicks and I'll beat a ninja, hee hee. Steven, in your dreams I will defeat you, and more so because you are the son of the Kyokyujin tiger and my mother's friend. Leonardo, we'll see about that. We'll get into fighting positions to start. In that the two gave their best punches and kicks, where the two were even giving everything of themselves as if there was no one, Their strength was noticeable that for the age they had and already surpassed their parents of the same age. The change of generation was seen and that they were trained in a good way by these same ones and that they were not using their ki and more Steve and his ninjutsu techniques. After an intense fight in which the two were equal, they began to talk. Steven, you're not doing too bad for a newbie lol. Leonardo, who are you calling a rookie? Look, who's already tired. Can't you keep up with me, ha ha ha. Steven, what you said, this is personal now. If I go all out, I hope you keep up with me. Leonardo, whenever you want, I'm more than prepared because I'm also going all out. Both, ayaha. And so the match restarted where now they were using their techniques and ki to hurt and leave on the canvas without leaving anything behind. The ball was causing destruction everywhere where they continued, but a comment came where they stopped and were going to send their best attack. Steven, this will be the last. This is my best attack. Cho Repadan. Leonardo, me too. Hien Shippuri Yujin Kyaku. They collided, and after the crash you can see an individual on the ground, another on his knees, to then see who was the winner, and this was Leonardo. This one, despite still being conscious but with wounds and blood coming out of his head, Steven is unconscious and in the same condition as Leonardo. In that, Leonardo is declared the winner and taken to be cured, and after some time, Issei says, Issei, wow, it was a very intense fight. We didn't know they had a lot of power. I hope Leo gets better. Marco, yes, but it's your turn, do your best. Issei, yes, master. And he was on his way to the combat zone, and seeing a young man with a red cap also entering. Rock, do your best, Frank. Frank, okay. The opponents were face to face and then said to be. Frank, I see that you are already prepared. Well, let's start with this fight now because I am more than excited, but I know that you do not want to talk except with our fists. Here I go, Issei. Issei, let's start too. I'll give my best and demonstrate the power of Kyokyujinryu. But I also agree with you, I'm going too, Frank. Note, Frank without the jacket and Issei without the orange suit. It happens with these two that they will become the greatest rivals and friends, two young people who speak to each other with only their fists. Chapter 9, The Clash of a Wolf and a Dragon. Let's find ourselves in a factory where a confrontation will break out that will be talked about and even more heard in the surroundings of the city, and this is because two young people are destined to follow their path. One because he was influenced by what his father did, and the other to find a teacher who will guide him after so much suffering. Two different lives, one path, to be stronger being what they are without shortcuts or strange powers. Then the match began, where both of them were using their techniques from the very beginning, and their ki was not held back at all. One was beginning to have an advantage over the other, but then they cut back and exchanged roles, but all that was seen were their faces of happiness and satisfaction. Rock, Frank, I see that you look a lot like your father. Since you were born you were always attached to him, and you admired him so much that you decided to be like him. You couldn't find rivals your age because of the enormous potential that you inherited from those two. But look at yourself, you've already found your rival, and not only that but Ryo's successor. But the young man isn't doing bad at all, he has his thing. I know that they are young and lack experience, but seeing them I see them with a great future. Marco, young Issei, I see that you are overcoming what has happened and are on the rise. Master Ryo will be proud to see this. While in combat, one of the best fights of the tournament was taking place due to the magnitude of the encounter and the techniques. Even though they were young, it was still surprising that their skills were excellent. After a while they were at the climax of the battle where it was very even, so in an attempt of desperation Issei gave Frank an uppercut which he managed to connect. This left Frank very hurt, but he got up to say goodbye. Frank, I'm impressed, Issei. Keeping up with me after so long is surprising, but I see that this is your limit. In that, Frank gathered an enormous amount of ki in his body. This left Issei impressed that he still had more power, and he did not hesitate to go to attack, but someone noticed that. Mark, Issei, be careful, you'll end up screaming at him, but Issei didn't hear, but Rock had a calm expression. Rock, in his mind. Apparently Ryo's successor is still missing, and I see that he hasn't been taught any of that. It's a shame that victory belongs to Frank. At that moment Frank redirected all his power towards his right fist, which he prepared to hit the ground with it. Frank, power geyser. A huge torrent of ki came out of the ground, which left Issei with an option to use a Koken, but Frank's power was too great for him, and he ended up hitting Issei full on, sending him flying through the air with many wounds and his clothes destroyed, falling to the floor in a very violent way. Leonardo, Issei. Going in to help Issei. Issei, answer me please. Referee, fighter Issei can't continue, Frank Boger wins. At that, Frank raises his fist in victory but then kneels down from the blow Issei gave him. Rock enters the arena. Rock, you did well, I congratulate you. Frank, thanks, man. With Issei he began to regain consciousness. Marco, Issei, how do you feel? Issei, Master, who won? Marco, Frank. You lost because you reached your limit. Issei, I started crying and saying. Because I'm weak, I thought I was on the right path, but again they surpassed me. Marco, don't say that, you still have a long way to go, it's just that you meet a rival who is stronger than you and has more experience. You are still very young, and you still have a lot to learn. Leonardo, yes, Issei, remember that you have been practicing the Kyokugenryo style for a short time, but you kept up with that guy. Someone approached the three of them. It was Frank and Rock. Frank, wow, so you woke up. I see that you are amazing. You are the first one who makes me use my power geyser. When the day comes we can face each other again. With a thumbs up. Issei, rest assured I will surpass you when that time comes. Rock, wow, Marco, that kid really has potential, it's just that they haven't taught him everything right. Marco, if he still hasn't mastered the How Shokoken. Rock, well, I hope you teach him Ryo soon, otherwise Terry's son will surpass him. The doctors took Issei out on a stretcher because he had some serious injuries such as broken ribs and wounds. After that, the last fight between Rock and Marco would begin, who were already in the arena. Rock, like old times, don't you believe? Marco, yes, but this time it will be different, I will win. Rock, we'll see when that's ready. Marco, whenever you want. Referee, the last fight begins. The fight developed in which it was too surprising for Leonardo and Frank because the brutality was out of this world. The ground shook with the clashes of powers and blows. They saw that they still had a long way to go. After a while the fight ended with Rock winning and he went to the final. Leonardo, Master, you are amazing. Marco, no, I still lack a lot. My power does not compare to Master Ryo and Robert, they have more power than me. Leonardo, excuse me, Master, in the confrontation between Issei and Frank, I saw that he used a very powerful movement as if it were a geyser, and then you made a movement shooting a very powerful ki projectile against Rock. Marco, well, that boy named Frank did a characteristic movement of his father, the power geyser. This consists of collecting everything in one point to hit the ground, and what I did was one of the most powerful techniques of Kyokugenryo karate. This technique has not been taught to both Ryo and your father, to you and Issei. That apparently caught Issei off guard because he could not counteract Frank's attack. Leonardo, well then both Issei and I have to improve, and I've been with my father longer, but my laziness took its toll, I'll have to train more. Marco, that's right, but we must go see how Issei is and return to the dojo. Our mission ended here. It seems that they will take care of everything. After seeing Issei they headed to his house. Meanwhile, with the finalists they faced Jess henchmen, more specifically Rock with his father. They realized that they had a demon locked up by his father's organization and destroyed all the evidence without first taking some photos. What did they want with that demon, and what will become of Issei? And if he manages to recover, he will be able to face Frank again. Ch10, taking the next step. We are at Issei's house, who was arriving from the tournament that he lost in a crushing way and very hurt with bandages everywhere. When he opens the door he sees that his parents were waiting for him, and his mother was upset when she saw her son all bandaged. Mickey, son, what happened to you? Are you okay? She grabs him by the face with a little force that makes Issei feel pain. Issei, Mom, that hurts, and if I'm okay, I'll just end up in pieces, hee hee. Goro, but who left you like this? Issei, He was a fighter who also knew how to handle ki but on a larger scale than mine, and had a devastating technique that threw me into the air and I fell to the ground in a way that was too brutal that left a crater and I fainted from the impact. Mickey, my boy, you said that you weren't going to worry us anymore and that you would hurt yourself like that again. You no longer have something to protect you like your armor or anything. Issei, I'm sorry but this is the path I chose and I know it's harder than when I was a dragon demon. Now I'm a human, and I'm no longer a mother-child. Mickey, you will always be my child even if you are 50 years old or older, and I know you chose that, but seeing you suffer hurts me, but I have to be strong. Just take care of yourself. Goro, son, like your mother said, you have to take care of yourself. You no longer have your powers from before, but I know that in the future you want to show those ungrateful people what you are capable of, and even more so when those brats know that they let you go. Issei, yes parents, but for now I just want to rest and tomorrow continue with my studies. I have to finish them. I'm ready and then see what happens. Mickey, if not, we will bother you, just rest. Your whole body must hurt. Issei, hee if you can't even imagine it. He heads to his room where he lies down and starts to think. Boy, who would say that there are people stronger than me and I don't know how strong my teacher is. There's a truck too big that I have to take to teach those ungrateful ones what I'm capable of. But I'll have to train like crazy if I want to get to have the strength that I once had and more. I will achieve it with this human body. There has been enough of borrowed powers. I will achieve it based on my efforts. He just holds a key sphere in his hand and looks at it with determination. In his mind, with this power I will go higher. I will break my limits. Then he falls asleep and starts a new day, preparing to return to his university and finish his studies as a chef. Issei would get up to start his day of classes where his classmates and teachers asked him why he had his bandages, and he explained to them that he fell from the roof while repairing it and that they prescribed him pain pills. And so his day ended where he suffered a little because of how uncomfortable the chairs were and standing due to the pain of his body that recovered very quickly thanks to his control. Already arriving at his house where he was received by his parents, he lay down on a chair where his back stole the most and his mother brought him his food. After eating and resting, his phone rang where his teacher was calling him. Issei, good master. Rio, I hear you're feeling better now. Issei, yes, a little sore, but I can move now. Rio, I'm glad. I heard Terry's son defeated you. Issei, yes, he did pull me in that last attack. Rio, it's okay, you don't have to complain. I defeated you with one of Terry's insignia attacks. Issei, yes, I had nothing to do to counter it, but master, how is it possible to stop that, and even more so gather such a large amount of ki? Rio, well, it was my mistake for not teaching you the House Shokoken. Who would say that his son would already have the ability to achieve a technique of such magnitude? Issei, House Shokoken, what is that, master? Rio, it is one of the most powerful techniques of Kyokugenryo that only an experienced student can do, but few are prepared. Issei, and what does that technique consist of? Rio, well, you'll have to come and witness that to be able to achieve it in addition to training more. Issei, that's great. I'd like to learn it because I promised Frank that I would face him again and I don't plan on losing him. Rio, haha, you look like me when I was younger, but it's okay now. I'm ready to teach you all the other techniques of the Kyokugenryo style, but that will be at the weekend. Does that seem okay to you? Robert and I will teach you the techniques, and Leonardo and Yuri and King with Emily. Issei, yes master, I will go. Rio, see you then. Hanging up. Issei, House Shokoken, a technique that matches that. I still have it in my memory. Remembering when I recovered the power geyser. Mickey, who was a son? Issei, my master wants me to go to the dojo this weekend to teach me some techniques that can counteract what I left with these bandages. Mickey, how nice, and how are you doing at university? Issei, very well, they taught me new recipes and I am 2 years away from finishing. Mickey, I wish you luck. Issei, thanks mom. And so the days passed where Issei recovered from his injuries and successfully completed his classes to become a great chef. We found ourselves at the entrance of the Sakasaki dojo where Issei had just arrived. A student greeted him and went to his teacher, who was accompanied by Robert and Leonardo. Rio Issei, it's good to see you. Come sit down. Robert, just look at yourself, you look more mature. Issei, because Master Robert says so. Robert, I see it in your ki. Issei, how can he sense ki even though he's not using it at full power? Robert, you have a lot to learn, young pupil. Leonardo, how are you, Issei? Issei, I'm fine now, and you? Leonardo, well, I had to rest a bit, haha. Bumping his fists. Rio, well, young people, I have called you to start with the next level of training, considering that you had a pretty bad time and even though you still need to win Leonardo. So Robert, and I will teach you the techniques that will take you to the next level, but it will take longer than expected. But believe me, it will work. Robert, get ready because this time I'm going to be serious. Both yes. In an opening of a door you can see Takuma and Marco watching. Takuma, wow, those guys have enormous potential. The destiny of Kyoku Genryo is well protected. Marco, because the teacher says so. Takuma, don't you see those four are made for each other? And I feel like they will surpass those two, ha ha ha. And so begins the most intense training of Issei and Leonardo, one that will make them go further. Chapter 11, The Training of the Dragon and the Tiger. The four of them were at the dojo to begin the most intense training of Issei and Leonardo. Rio, well, we will start this with resistance and flexibility training for 2 years, and then after you finish your studies we will go to the mountains. Both of us, we're ready. Robert, as you know, Rio and I have a unique style derived from Kyoku Genryo, the dragon and the tiger. In that, each of us will follow that path, but certain movements are similar, so we will start by teaching you the Haushokoken. They both agreed. Rio, well, in order to do the Haushokoken you need to have a total concentration of ki throughout your body, therefore you will have to channel more ki than you have at the moment. First of all, it starts with crossing your arms in an X shape and then bending your knees a little and accumulating a large amount of ki. We can accumulate too much in a matter of seconds. To carry this out you will have to make your body be able to accumulate more ki. After that all that energy is redirected to the palm of your hands, which you place at a certain distance like a sphere, and that sphere formed by your hands is made backwards, looking forward, and then as if you were throwing the sphere forward, and when you reach the end of the path, open your hands. I'll show you. Without the projectile. Both, yes, master. Issei, and therefore we will launch a fairly powerful projectile. Rio, that's right, the Haushokoken has 4 variants, one in which we launch a projectile depending on whether it is slow or fast. The second is to gather more ki than normal, but we must strengthen our body as well because the recoil could throw us back. The third is to make 3 projectiles of the same destructive power one after the other so that the rival does not have time to react, and the most powerful is to practically launch a trail, or ray of ki at maximum power. This could be deadly for the environment you are in because it takes everything in its path. Both surprising. Leonardo, so you already have it down. Robert, of course they are, but we don't do it when there are civilians, one has to be responsible. Issei, we'll train a lot for that. Rio, that's right, Issei, you two have come a long way and I hope you'll surpass us one day. Issei, we won't let them down. Rio, well, let's get this started. Both, yes, master. And with that they began a very demanding training where they took their abilities to another level. They had tears, dislocations, sprains, wounds and cuts. But they didn't give up, they kept going and going. Over the course of those 2 years, Issei and Leonardo finished their careers and graduated where they had a party to recognize their effort. Their families were with them, but the real battle begins and these are the years that they will go to the mountains to train to collect ki and greatly improve their physical strength. Issei was already 25 years old like Leonardo. Issei was preparing his things because he would be picked up by Rio, Robert, and Leonardo. Issei, well, everything is ready. I have improved my skills over all these years, but I still lack a lot. That's when his mother enters. Mickey, son, they're waiting outside. Issei, thanks mom. Mickey, look who would say, already a grown man, what I always wanted was not for you to become a hero of factions, I just wanted you to be a normal person. She started to cry. Issei, hey mom. Hugging her. I promise that when I get back I'll cook you some shell crusts. Mickey, yes, please take care of yourself. Issei, take it for granted. Going down to meet her father. And giving him a hug. We don't see you taking care of her. Gora, leave it to me, may it go well for you. Issei heads to the exit where a car with the three of them was waiting for them. Robert, ready, put your things in the trunk and get in. Issei, yes, I'm going. Once in the car, he says goodbye to his parents and heads to his destination. Leonardo, ready Issei. Issei, more than smart. Rio, I hope they hold on. Issei, what do you say, master? We've already hardened everything you've thrown at us. Leonardo, yes, uncle, this time it won't be like the first. Rio, that's the attitude, but this time they will beg for their lives. They both swallow. Robert, don't scare them. After that, they head to the mountains, but in another part of the United States. Arriving at the mountains, there was a waterfall which had a good view. Once settled in, they put on their karate suits. Rio, okay guys, the test begins here, so let's not waste time. Let's start with stretching. We're done. Well, the test is for each of you to break a rock of this size. But your Issei will be with bare fists, and from what I see Leonardo will be more with his feet, but it will also have to be with his hands. They both stood there with their mouths open. Issei, I don't eat with bare hands. Leonardo, that's impossible. Rio, no, they were going to continue regardless of the fact that I don't want excuses, and they should start training from improving their physical and mental strength under the waterfall, meditating so that they also start to gather ki. Robert, hee, it seems that Rio has already taken this very seriously. Rio, Robert, let's train, we can't stop training. Robert, this is going to be very long. They started with the hellish training where they carried rocks with their feet and hands. Issei karate chopped rocks to break them even though his hands bled. Leonardo used to lift large rocks with his legs because of his style. They also meditated a lot to accumulate ki under the waterfall again and again. The poor things didn't live in hell, and that's even though Issei met him in person, but this was already bordering on madness. They cried blood from how they were trained over and over again. They no longer felt their body. But as they continued, something told them that all their effort would be worth it. This continued day and night, and then almost 2 more years passed without seeing the light. The good thing was that they took them to eat at restaurants, and their Issei learned several innovative recipes. That at least gave him life, but they saw how people looked at them with dark circles, burns and wounds like bandages, wondering what had happened to those boys with eyes that thought life was worthless. Robert, I just saw them with a drop on their forehead and laughing. Cheer up guys, it's not that bad. Issei, master, this is already surpassing the limit of the inhuman. I no longer feel my body, it only moves by pure instinct. Leonardo, father, I will leave my will to Emily, you say I have saved it. Tell him that Issei and I are moving on to a new life. Rio, we're almost done, so take your last breath. Both you. With tremendous discouragement. What will happen to Issei and Leonardo after hellish training? Chapter 12. Meeting the person who will open my heart. After the intense training, the 4 returned, more specifically to the dojo. Rio and Robert entered as if nothing had happened. Yuri, Oni-chan, how did it go? And Issei and Leo. Rio, okay, and they're coming for it. In that, Issei and Leonardo were seen entering, but not in a normal way, but rather holding each other's shoulders. Emily, guys, what's wrong? Issei, Emily, we arrived, how are you? Leonardo, cousin, it's good to see you again. But in an instant, they both collapse and fall to the floor. Emily, Issei, Leo, what's wrong with you? Please react. Getting on her knees, all worried. King, calm down, daughter, they are just devastated both physically and mentally. Don't you think you went too far with them, Rio? Rio, no, these guys are amazing, they withstood everything we put them through, but they still came in on their own 2 feet. Emily, Dad, you're very bad. Starting to heal them and take them to a bed. Takuma, haha, great. Marco, master, with a drop of sweat. After a while the two were lying in beds due to their extreme exhaustion, and Emily was taking care of them. Emily, gosh, my father exaggerated, he left them devastated. Issei was waking up. Issei, Emily, it's good to see you. Emily, Issei, how do you feel? Issei, much better, thank you for taking care of us, the master really did spend time with us. Leonardo, and you say it, I didn't feel like I was alive. Emily, Leo, you feel better now. Leonardo, yes, it's just tiredness, but nothing to worry about. My wounds and broken bones are already healed. Issei, I see we survived very well. Raising his arms. Leonardo, yes, mission accomplished, but we have to fully recover. Issei, yes, then I have to go see my parents. As the days passed and Issei recovered, he headed home. Rio, well, young Issei, I'm glad you're here, but before you go home I have a gift for you. I'm giving you a box. Open it when you get to your parents' house. Leonardo, well, Issei, when you come, I hope to meet you. Issei, yes, I've been waiting for you. Well, we'll see each other again. Emily, take care, Issei. So he took a taxi to his house. When he got home, he stood in front of the door and knocked on it for his mother to open it. Mickey, yes, who is it? When he opened the door, he saw his son, now an adult. My child, hugging him. It's good to see you again after these 2 years. Issei, I miss you a lot too, Mom and Dad. Mickey, he hasn't arrived home from work yet, but he's about to. Issei, well, I want to show you the ones my master gave me and prepare a dish that I created on my training trip. After a few hours, Issei's father arrives. Goro, honey, I'm here. As he enters, he hears a voice in the kitchen. Honey, and then he sees his son. Issei. Issei, father. Hugging him. Goro, how have you been? Issei, I did my training well. Goro, yes, I see that you are more mature and muscular. Issei, it's not that bad, but I've improved a lot. Goro, that's my son, and what is that you have on the table? Issei, well, when you arrive I will prepare a dish that I just invented and I would like you to try it, and what's in the box is a gift that my master gave me and I wanted you to open it when you two are here. Goro, oh well, then we have dinner and see what it is. And so they ate Issei's special dish, where his parents were more than amazed by the flavor. They couldn't stop eating it, and Issei told him that this dish was only for the people he loved most in his life. After finishing, they went to their living room to see the gift. Issei, well, I'll open it. When they opened it, they found something that meant a lot to Issei, and it was an orange suit with a black ribbon, black gloves, and some protectors for his feet. This left Issei with tears that he could finally reach master rank. Mickey, congratulations, you finally managed to get to that point. Issei, yes, Mom, in the Kyokugenryo style, not many people get to have a black belt due to rigorous training, but I achieved it. Goro, but why don't they achieve it? Issei, well, to do it we have to go through rigorous training that would make you wish for death and be able to control our ki. Goro, ki, what is that? Issei, well, this is it. Starting to create a small sphere of ki. Mickey, how beautiful, it seems very pure. Issei, yes, it is the energy that we humans have, but at the same time it is very destructive if used in large quantities. Mickey, oh wow, but then you can make it bigger. Issei, yes, but it would attract the attention of unwelcome people. Goro, well, then what will you do from today on? Issei, I will start working in a Chinese restaurant. I already have calls from one and I will go and then open my own restaurant. Goro, then I wish you the best. With that, everyone went to sleep, where Issei would start working. The next day, Issei goes to the Chinese restaurant that was well known in the country. Issei introduces himself as an assistant chef to find out what the establishment's modus operandi is and to meet the staff, because they told him that he would be the main chef until the head chef retired, and so his journey began. He had to prepare dishes at an enormous speed because the restaurant received many customers, but also to correct errors that arose. After almost a month, Issei already had the rhythm, not because of his lack of physique but the stress and the tiny house that he had to pay attention to. Issei, wow, the practices and a real-life situation take you to another level. But hey, I'm not complaining. I chose this profession. I'm grateful to have a physical condition far superior to that of an average human. But hey, enough of the rest, we have to keep going. And so the days went by where Issei had already memorized everything well until he proposed new dishes that the head chef approved, which were refined for greater flavor. Meanwhile, in another place, a very beautiful 26-year-old girl arrived from a trip from Beijing to the South Town airport. She was greeted by a limousine because she was a distinguished Chinese chef and was going to visit the restaurant where Issei worked. At the restaurant, Issei was preparing some dishes for a family because the head chef had to go to the doctor for a checkup, leaving Issei in charge. But then a limousine was in front of the establishment, getting out the driver who would open the door to a beautiful black-haired girl, who was recognized by the manager, who was sweating profusely because that girl was one of the most renowned chefs in China and a bad word from her was catastrophic for her reputation as a Chinese restaurant. He then sends the best waiters to serve her and runs to the kitchen. While the waiters were waiting for the girl, who, upon entering, carefully observed the establishment and asked an assistant who was with her to write down all his observations, while the other customers were stunned upon seeing the girl. Some recognized her immediately, and others looked her up on the internet and were stunned. On the other hand, the manager arrives in the kitchen with a desperation that scares the assistants. Manager, where the head chef is a matter of life or death. Issei, the chef went to a medical checkup because he didn't tell him. Manager, how could I have forgotten that? We're done. Clutching his head. Issei, manager, okay, why do you say that? Manager, because right now there is one of the most renowned chefs in all of China and the world. Issei, I don't know who she is. Manager, pulls him away and grabs him by the clothes. It's her. Issei looks at her and sees that she is super beautiful. Issei, and what's so important here? Manager, how important is your choice? She could make this restaurant go bankrupt. Furthermore, she is Mei Qin, a chef who was trained at a young age and was born with a gigantic talent for cooking. If she doesn't like anything we offer her, we're all finished and we'll have to fire her. Issei gulped and thought that the nice people he met would have to be fired, and he didn't want that. Manager, and the head chef could satisfy your taste buds, but he's not here, so what are we going to do? Everyone had a distressed look on their faces. They didn't want to be fired, some supported their families. Issei gathered his courage and approached the manager. Issei, manager, I can make the dish. I know all the secrets that the chef taught me. Manager, you would do that for the restaurant. Issei nods. Then let the waiters know, and please, we all trust you. This one leaves. Issei, take a deep breath. Well, I hope I can count on all of you. We need to leave our souls on that plate, so don't fail. And first, whoever can't stand the precision, please tell me. Everyone felt confident that they wouldn't fail. Well, let's get to work. We just have to wait for him to ask. While at the chef's table she sits. Waiter, how can we help you? Giving him the menu. While the other waiter served him a glass of water. She was looking over the menu while talking to her assistant. May, I want the specialty, please. Waiter, at your service. Retiring with the manager. Manager, what did he say to you? Macero wants the specialty. Manager, I'll go give the order to the kitchen. He heads to the kitchen. Upon entering, he sees everyone almost praying and talking in low voices. Issei. Issei, yes, I do order. Manager, wants the specialty. Issei, okay, then let's get to work. Manager, I trust you. He leaves. Issei, well, let's begin. And so they began. Everyone worked with surgical precision, not wanting to ruin everything. Issei was assembling the dish and giving the final details. Finishing and calling the waiter. Issei, we're done. Everyone did a great job, thanks. The waiter comes in to take the plate. Issei, please be careful that nothing moves. Waiter, leave it to me. When he gets to the table, he places the saucer. Macero, this is our specialty, A stew with a broth made by us. May looked at the dish carefully. The colors seemed beautiful to her, the vegetables and meat cooked to perfection. Meanwhile, the waiter had a worried look on his face. May, the colors, seasonings and presentation are very good, but the flavor is what counts. The manager who was listening was also relieved by the first impression, but the good stuff was yet to come. May took some chopsticks and tied the meat. When she tasted it, she remained silent. Many thought it was disgusting for her, but then they saw a smile on her face and she took a spoon and tasted everything. And immediately she started to cry because it was a flavor that reminded her of the time she tried a food like a child that she liked, and even more so when she went with her parents to try it. While the others watched in amazement as the chef was moved. May, excuse my boldness, but who made such a work of art? Massaro, he was the chef's assistant. May, since he was an assistant, that's impossible. Massaro, no, in fact he had just finished his studies about 2.5 years ago. May, but this dish is like it was made by a very experienced chef. Let me talk to him. Waiter, let me tell the manager. Going to the manager. Manager, Chef May wants to see Issei. Manager, why? Massaro, I don't know, but we should call him. Manager, I'll go get him. He heads to the kitchen. Issei, where are they? Everyone gets scared. Issei, manager, I'm going to have a heart attack. Manager, the chef wants to see you. Issei, I did something wrong. Manager, on the contrary, I liked your dish. Issei, fine, I'll go. Please wait for me here. Issei heads to the table where May was waiting for him. She was talking on the phone until she saw Issei and the manager. Manager, sorry for the delay, he is our chef in charge at the moment. His name is Issei. May, seeing him, sees a very calm face, and more than that she felt something that no one felt about Issei. Issei, nice to meet you, my name is Issei Hayadu. Shaking hands. May, the pleasure is mine. I am Mei-chin. From what I hear, you are Japanese and you are well versed in Chinese cuisine. Issei, that's right, I'm Japanese, but I also have American nationality and I had good teachers. May, one question, how did you achieve this? Issei, well, I followed the recipe to the letter, but I had an idea to add a personal touch to enhance the flavor even more. May, and what would that be? Issei, when I finished my career I was designing a dish until I got it. The only purpose is to give it to the people I love most in this life, and they are my parents, and the secret of that dish has an ingredient from the dish dedicated to my parents. May saw Issei with different eyes. There was someone who believed in the same ideals as her, and more so because he had to give some of the ingredients for a dish made for her parents. She began to feel something in her chest that was very strange to her. The two did not lose sight of each other, and thus began a meeting united by destiny through cooking. Chapter 13. The beginning of an eternal love and revealing the truth. After the events at the restaurant, it had a huge reputation where Chinese people traveling to the United States went directly to the restaurant. Issei finished his work day after a busier day than usual. Arriving home. Issei, Mom, Dad, I'm here. Mickey, welcome son, how did it go? Issei, well, more active since what happened with the chef. Mickey, wow, it seems very tedious. Issei, and you say it, and my dad. Mickey, in the kitchen reading his newspaper, and he sees that it is from the old school. Issei, haha, despite all the technology there is, he still has his newspaper. But anyway, let's go to dinner. Mickey, yes, wash your hands and leave your things. Issei went to his room to change and wash his face and hands. After that he was heading to the dining room when he heard the doorbell. Issei, I'm going, mother. They were constantly knocking. I'm coming. When he opens the door, he gets a surprise. Chef May, what is she doing here and how did she know where I live? May, it wasn't very difficult, I just had to ask the manager for your address, but I'm glad it's the right house. Issei, okay, but okay, pass. May, how kind of you. Entering the residence. Issei, can sit on the sofa and feel at home. May, thank you. Issei heads to the kitchen. Mickey, who is they? Issei, you won't believe who it is, but do you remember the chef I told you about? Mickey, yes, because. Issei, well, right now he's in the living room. Mickey, oh my god. Issei, we have snacks and tea. Mickey, yes. Goro, and what is that chef doing here? Issei, I don't know, but I'll have to go see. Issei heads to the living room. May, your house is very nice, not so big nor so small. Issei, thanks, he wants some tea and snacks. May, yes, thank you very much, and one more thing, please tell me about yourself. Issei, I agree with you and that I am important. May, well, I'll get straight to the point. I want you to marry me. Issei, I'm going to marry you. He's drinking a little bit until he spits out the tea again. Marry you, but why, and even more so if I don't have that prestige that you have? May, I'm sorry if it was sudden, but from the first day I saw you and you moved me with that dish, I felt something very strange in my heart. It's the first time I feel this for a person other than my parents. I asked my mother what it was, and she told me it was love at first sight. She told me that someone would appear in my life to be with me. I had lost all hope for my status and my fame, but I was not going to waste this opportunity. Issei, but I don't even know you well and I can't love you again, not after what happened to me. May, don't worry, I'm willing to tell you about my life and get to know you better. What I saw in your eyes is a light to move forward and improve, and more about something else. And why can't you love again? What happened to you? Issei, you don't understand, it's very difficult. And even more so that you trust me like that. May, I can hear you even though it's hard to understand. I also have things that not everyone would understand, and since I saw you I know that I was not wrong. Please, if it's a problem from a past love, give me the opportunity to repair that broken heart. Issei, I just don't know, it's too difficult for me. I doubt a lot about how his already sworn wives and children changed him. But then two hands take them by the shoulders. Mother, father. Mickey, son, don't you think it's time to give yourself another chance at love? What they did to you was because they didn't really love you or want you. Besides, I see that this girl has very strong feelings for you, at the point of asking you to marry her. Goro, yes, they are. You are no longer tied to that. You have a new life. Enjoy it just as we enjoy it by your side. Issei, parents. May, good evening, Mr. Hayato. Sorry for the intrusion. Mickey, you don't have to want to, but more than that, those were the reasons why you wanted to marry my son. May, yes ma'am, ever since I met him I had that feeling and I don't want to waste it, especially when they say that you only love once in a lifetime. Issei, okay, but first I'll have to get to know you. The truth is, I don't know anything about you. May, thank you, and believe me, if I make you fall in love, I won't leave you for anything in the world. Issei, haha, it's weird that a woman proposes to a man, it's always the other way around. May, we live in times where women are more autonomous. Issei, you win. And so the four of them began to chat about things in life. May was very happy that she had a lot in common with them. After their chat she left. May, thank you for welcoming me. Issei, you're welcome. May, your parents are very fun and good. I feel at peace when I'm here with all that traveling and other things. Thank you? Issei, yes, that's what they are like, and I want them to spend the rest of their lives in peace. May, you are a very good person who cares about your parents, and I see that you have chosen the person who will be by my side for life. Issei, I still can't believe that you're in love with me. Scratching his head. May, and believe me, I will do everything in my power to make you love me as I love you, and I know where to start, and it will be with your stomach. They say that a man is won over by his stomach, but oh well, I have to go. But before leaving, she gives him a kiss on her cheek. Issei looked surprised and grabbed his cheek, while May waved goodbye to him. Issei, damn, this girl really loves me, she's more direct than when I was with my ex-wives, but I feel like something is changing and I have to get rid of these traumas. I'm maturing and my life is no longer tied to the supernatural, and the truth is that being human is very beautiful. Why I want to live so much. We're just running away from our end. I just want to be at peace and defend those I love. Meanwhile, in the underworld, all the ex-wives and children of the previous hero were at a party for the years of the Alliance, but at one point they all felt that someone was moving away and that they could never get him back. Sona, Rias, something's wrong with you. Rias, it's not just that I felt a huge concern, I don't know what it is. That's when her son and his red-haired sister got closer, both of them only a year apart. Mom, I felt something strange in my chest. I don't know what it is. Rias, this is weird, isn't it? While she was dreaming, she already had an idea of why, but she didn't say anything. Back in Southtown the next day, Issei had a little vacation that he was given for saving the restaurant, and he planned to go on a trip to Miami with his parents to rest and forget everything they have been through. Issei, Mother, Father are ready, we will go to the airport. Mickey, yes, they are, we're almost down. They were already coming down with suitcases, but then you hear the bell. Issei, who is it? He opens the door and finds May dressed casually. May, what do you bring here? I'm sorry if I can't help you. We'll go on a trip. May, well, that's what I came for. I'll go with you. Issei, how is that? May, well, yesterday we were talking and your mom gave me her number, and we were talking about women, and she told me that tomorrow they were going on a trip, and well, I said to myself, why don't I go with them? Issei, oh, but we only have tickets for the three of us. May, don't worry about that. I got mine by showing him the virtual ticket on his cell phone. And then my driver will take us to the airport. Mickey, forgive me, son, it just slipped out, and I was just going to go, and I needed a woman to talk to. Issei, oh mother, well, what else is left, we'll go. The truth is that I'm fed up with the noise of the city, and I would like to go relax. May, that's a yes. Issei nods. Very well then, what are we waiting for, don't you think, darling? Issei gulps as he said. While May was happy. Issei says in his mind. Issei, she is more direct than the toxic and greedy one. And so they load their suitcases and also begin the journey to the airport. Once on the plane they fell asleep on the way, and that's how they arrived. When they got to the hotel they came to ask for their room keys, and there were two, one for Issei's parents and the other for Issei alone, but May didn't have any and they were ready to arrange another one, but May told her. May, I'm staying with Issei. Yo. I'm leaving that with my eyes open. Issei, but you won't feel uncomfortable. May, not at all. Besides, I told you I would do everything possible to fix your heart, so go ahead. Issei, okay. They arrived at their rooms and were preparing to go to the beach. But they would put on their bathing suits. Issei, I'll go out so you can change. May, don't worry, stay here. Issei, but you're not ashamed. May, Issei, we're already grown up and at this point you're embarrassed to look like high school teenagers. Issei, but still, out of respect for you, I'll turn around. May was changing. May, ready, how do I look? Issei turns around and is amazed. Without the doves and the gray eyes, not red. Issei, sky jump, I'm looking at a work of art, not a goddess. May, hee, I see that you like me. Well, what are we waiting for? We don't have to keep your parents waiting. Issei, okay. And so they went to where their parents were, but May caught the glances of the men and Issei of the women because of their musculature. Issei, parents, we're here. Mickey, son, we were waiting for you, but I see why. May, you look beautiful. May, thanks Mickey, you still take care of yourself despite your age. Mickey, I have to take care of myself. And so they headed to the beach where they sunbathed, and Issei and May had fun like children in the water. The sunset had already arrived and Issei and May stayed there contemplating it while their parents returned to the hotel. Issei, this is so relaxing, I haven't had a vacation in years. May, I have so much to do that I don't have time for myself. But anyway, this was one of the happiest days of my life. Issei, yeah, and that. May, well, ever since my talent in cooking was discovered, I was trained and tutored by a teacher my father hired. After that, I devoted myself fully to that, and couldn't enjoy my life like a normal woman. Before I met you, I made a bet with my father that if I found a partner on my terms until I was 30, I wouldn't have to marry a son of one of my father's partners. You'll tell me that I proposed that you marry me because of that bet, but what I feel for you is true and I don't regret it. You know how marriages are in wealthy families in our countries. Issei, I can't argue with that logic. I see you've had a boring life. May, but tell me about yourself. Issei, well, since we are revealing secrets, and we trust each other, I will tell you my whole life without holding anything back, but I don't know if you believe me. May, don't worry, I also have other secrets, and I will tell you when you finish your story. Issei, well, where do I start? I already know since I entered high school. And so he told his whole life in great detail up to where he is right now. May began to cry from the tragic story. May, I didn't know what you went through in being so young. Issei, don't worry, I don't hold a grudge or hate them, they just no longer have a meaning in the journey of my life. At the beginning I hated them and cried, but I was mature and well, I told myself, why should I regret that? I just wish them the best. They chose their path, I chose mine, and look at me. May, you're absolutely right, coming back from the dead and even being a demon and a dragon. Issei, it's not surprising. May, no, the truth is that in my country there are beings that roam around, and since you are from a wealthy family you have certain privileges, but I will tell you my other secrets. And so I sang to her that she also knows how to fight, more specifically Tai Chi. She had control of the air and the earth, how to communicate through the mind and lift a person up as much as possible with the mind, and also that she controlled Chi. Issei, wow, you are amazing, and those of the Chi. May, yes, but I had to train everything. Sometimes I would get migraines, and Chi is the same as Ki, only in your country, or here they call it that. Issei, who would have thought that I would find another person with surprising abilities? May, yes, they have helped me in my life, and I also want to defend my parents even though I don't get along very well with my father. Issei, I wish you good health. May, thank you, darling, for telling me about your life. Although I still can't believe how those kids turned their backs on their father. Issei, I'm still not used to you telling me that, and yes, but nothing binds us anymore, nor are we blood, they are half dragon and half of the race that their mothers belong to. May, hee, well, get used to it. Issei, well then we have to go. He was plowing himself until May turned him around and gave him a kiss on the mouth. And that's why he left. May, you don't like me, it's because of all the trust and the little time we've been through. In that, Issei takes her by the waist and kisses her lovingly in a beautiful scene. After that, Issei and May went to their room with May hugging him by the arm. What happens after Issei found true love, and most of all the ex-wives have already lost it, and even more so their children. Chapter 14, Problems in the Alliance and Invitation to the New KOF Tournament. In Grigori, Azazel was going through some papers until a guard comes in. Guard, Azazel-sama is attacking Grigori. Azazel, like who? Or guard, they are a group of demons and other races that are attacking strategic places and are stronger. Azazel, send troops, I'll go too. Guard, yes sir. So he leaves. Azazel, what's happening, and more, are they attacking strategic places? Won't it be the Chaos Brigade again? After finishing the attacks, the enemies retreated just like that, as if they were simply giving a warning message. Azazel returned to his office where Vala was there. Vala, Azazel, as the population and soldiers are. Azazel, we only have wounded but no casualties. This is very strange. They just attacked but retreated. And what's more, that Highness doesn't come to fulfill her role as a cadre, nor does she come to see anything. She only spends her time with that Dai guy. Vala, and what do we do? Azazel, we have to. But he was interrupted by a call informing them that there would be an important meeting because all the factions were attacked by groups of renegades of different races, and they also retreated. But in some factions there were casualties, more in the demon faction than the security I had to act. Vale, who was it? Azazel, there will be an emergency meeting. They attacked all the factions in the world, and in some they had casualties, more in the demon one. Vale, I'll go with you, but first I'll have to bring Levan and my children here. I don't want them to get kidnapped or something. Azazel, Yes, we will put guards to take care of them. Before the meeting was announced, the underworld was also under attack, and Issei sent trumpets to contain them and called on the families, plus the security, to fight and defend. When they arrived, they put the children in the Gremry mansion, and the security went to kill a group, but it was only a facade. The group saw the security die. Well, as we planned, we will have to make a scene, so they believe that I killed them, and so they could make explosions and more things. Where some retreated and others remained, where Dai told them that he had to have one massacred. Dai had one on the floor where he told him to express certain things. Dai, well, just like we planned, but to make it interesting, I shot some magic rays at him that pierced the renegade demon. Demon, but Dai-sama, why are you doing this to me? While the others watched as their companion was attacked by Dai. Dai, haha, this is more realistic, don't you think? Nothing will happen to you and it's also fun, haha. Demon, but the dragon inside doesn't hear or see. Dai, don't worry about the lizard. I put a spell on it that keeps it asleep. Now say that. Remembering it with a spell. Demon, hee damn security, you and the factions enjoyed peace, but that is over. Dai, damn, who sent you? Stepping on him. Demon, this one was panting and in pain. I'll just say one thing. Long live the Chaos Brigade. Dai, damn, I was about to kill him, but the recording stopped. Very well done. Demon, thank you, Dai-sama. Dai, yes, please wait. They are leaving. I received a call. Yes, Raizen-sama. Raizen, I see you already did that. Dai, if this is already done, they will begin to be afraid and the revenge will be completed more effectively. Raizen, yes, I want you to be more attentive. We will begin our movement little by little. This time you no longer have that unpleasant human in your ranks, and more than that, they will label you as weak. Ha, stupid. Dai, yes sir, as you say. Raizen, for now, start with the plan. Dai, yes, I will start destroying them from the inside out. I will kill their use of reason. Hee. Raizen, if you do it this time we will win. We didn't count on the Hayato Issei factor and my unpleasant grandson. After the conversation, Dai heads to the Gremry mansion where he is welcomed by the others, putting on his worried face and also mentioning that he has a recording of one of the demons that attacked. Issei called the leaders of each faction for an urgent meeting. And as time passed, many magical circles appeared where several servants were waiting to welcome them. From them came the leaders of each faction and their bodyguards. Everyone had arrived and gathered in a large room, a round table where the most important personalities of the supernatural were present. Issei, I have summoned you to discuss the most recent events that occurred in just a few hours, and it is about the attack on all factions that I have notified you about. Zeus, this is very sudden that they attack together, and that they retreat, leaving some casualties and also wounded. Osiris, yes, in my faction they arrived in a celebration without more. Issei, from what I understand, our pill picked up something you said to him. Give me please. Dai, if in an encounter with a group a demon told me something that left me stunned, I will show it to them. So I showed them the video in which the wounded demon tells Dai some words that put all the facts on alert. Long live the Chaos Brigade. Odin, that's true, boy. Dai, yes, Odin-sama, after that event I eliminated him. Miguel, we have to be careful, this hasn't happened for years, but we eliminated them all. Azazel, well, I believe Miguel, the Chaos Brigade is back, and the worst thing is that we don't know their plan. Shiva, damn, what it cost us to lock up the Trisseza. We lost many lives and we have barely recovered our troops. Quetzalcoatl, in America, everywhere my soldiers have seen subjects with strange behavior. Son Goku, yes, taking into account the events that happened a long time ago, it could be them. Issei, also something strange that we have detected is that in the human world very strange things are happening. Yasaka, what do you mean, Issei? Issei, according to reports, humans have been seen with strange abilities such as controlling the elements, strange energies and combat skills that we had not witnessed in them during these centuries. Everyone was surprised that humans have powers and without magic or intervention from them. Issei, Miguel, there is nothing about these in your God's texts. Miguel, not that I know of, but let me remember. Then he remembered a book that his father kept under lock and key, and he called his brother Raphael to bring it to him. Raphael arrived with the book. It had a stamp that said humans. Miguel opened it and searched until he was stunned. Gabriel, what's up, bro? Miguel, they're not going to like this. Odin, he's a boy. Miguel, it says here. If you read this book, I have to tell you that I do not believe in humans. They were created by beings superior to me. And if you are surprised, I didn't know why they were there, but they had something that terrified me, and that is that humans are limited in their physical and mental capacities. Out of curiosity, I introduced myself to them to see what that power was, but I didn't get it. I only know that to unlock that hidden power there were conditions that I could not discover. So that everyone would think that humans were creations of other gods, I implanted a memory-changing spell. This left everyone with their eyes wide open. Zeus, that explains everything. Shiva, like all Zeus. Zeus, don't you see that humans are advancing very quickly? They are acquiring very advanced technology and knowledge, and they have also seen things coming from the skies of the human world. Azazel, that explains his great evolution. Miguel, we have seen that many followers of the church are leaving. Issei, in the meantime we have to keep an eye on everything that happened with the Chaos Brigade and then everything that has to do with the human world. And so the meeting ends when Grigori, Azazel and Vali arrive. Livia and Vala Kun. Some 9-year-old children were running to Vala. Livian, how did it go? Vala, let's say it's very bad and I feel like another war is coming. Livian, but we already lived in peace. Vali, it seems that my unfortunate grandfather has returned. Livian puts her hands to her mouth. Azazel, and also the humans, I didn't expect that one, and Issei is one of those boys. No wonder he always got strength out of nowhere, haha. Vali, yes, and I lost half that belonged to my mother. We will have to contact him. Azazel, yes, but the problem is that we don't know where the hell he is. There's a war, and to top it off, we don't have Issei, damn it. Meanwhile, at the Hayada house, they were arriving after a well-served vacation. Issei, sweet home. May, yes, honey. Mickey, oh wow, they already get along like that. Issei, well, I understood that I must leave the past and focus on my present, and if mother, you already have a daughter-in-law. Mickey, that's great, and I can call you daughter. May, yes, mother. Giving each other a hug. Gora, that's my boy. Issei, yes, thank you, father. But then his phone rings. Okay. Leonardo, Issei, it's nice to talk to you again, my friend. Issei, I read it miraculously that you speak to me. Leonardo, well, since our training, the master asked me not to bother you so that you could spend what you lost with your father, and well, I have news for you. Issei, that teacher and what he is. Leonardo, would you like to participate in a world-level tournament that my father and the master participated in and that made the dojo grow? Issei, yes, and what is your name? Leonardo, the king of fighters. The Chaos Brigade is mobilizing and a new KOF tournament will come. Issei will face stronger fighters and see how much he has improved. CH-15, preparing for the tournament. At the house, Hayada Issei headed to the dojo to see about the KOF tournament invitation. Issei, see you later, mother. Mickey, yes, take care, they are. After arriving on a motorcycle that he bought. Upon arrival, he knocks on the door and is welcomed in. Once inside, he greets everyone because they were present, and this is due to a new opportunity to attract new students. Rio, well, as everyone knows, the meeting is for the new KOF tournament that will be held in the world, and therefore we received an invitation to participate. Rio, but as we know, these tournaments have something behind them. It even becomes a habit, don't you think, Robert? Robert, it's been a while since they made one. What will happen now? Rio, who knows? We've already seen too many things like modified humans, monsters, divine and interdimensional beings, and aliens. These will be a mystery. Robert, but that's the fun part, isn't it? Rio, you're right, the truth gives it a special touch. Issei raises his hand. Yes, Issei. Issei, it is true that aliens and interdimensional beings exist. Rio, if we have fought with them and believe me they are strong, this is no longer based on technology but on ancestral powers and those things like us who handle ki. Issei, wow, this makes me excited and I'll read you. Leo, I actually thought it was fiction but I see it isn't. Emily, those things give me the creeps. King, believe me daughter, there are someone that even disgusts you. Yuri, yes Emily-chan, but I know they could. Emily, I'm going too. Rio, yes, even though your mother and Yuri didn't want to, they convinced me because they prepared you better when they entered the tournament from the beginning. Emily, yes, I am more than ready. Rio, but the surprise is that this tournament will be 4 per team. So the chosen ones to go will be Issei, Leonardo, Emily and Marco. Issei, you guys don't participate, master. Rio, no, Robert and I are convinced that you are more than prepared than we were at the beginning to take Kyoku Genryo to the top. Marco, okay, kids, I'll be your companion. I expect many things from you. The 3 of them stand up and bow. All 3 of them, we will give our best. All the students encourage them. Takuma, haha, I see enormous determination. The Kyoku Genryo will see the new generation stronger and more dedicated. After that they were getting ready to leave for Europe, more specifically England, because the team presentation venue will be in London. As the news spread around the world that a new KOF tournament would be held in the world, many people got excited to see the best fighters in the world. The event could be seen on open television, internet through YouTube channels to the general public because it has been a while since one was held. Many companies began to talk about sponsoring the event. This was a unique opportunity. On the internet was the most contaminated with the subjects of the KOF tournament. Many were already giving their predictions. Meanwhile, Issei's mother was watching on TV about that topic. Issei was just arriving. Issei, mom's here. Mickey, son, the TV says an international tournament is going to be held. Issei, wow, the news spreads too fast. Well, with social media and new technologies it shouldn't surprise me. Mickey, you already knew about this. Issei, yes, and I'm going to participate, and I'll also be traveling to London, England for the team presentation. Mickey, but already like that. Issei, yes, but this tournament will be different. Here there will be very powerful fighters who even face beings that are extremely strong. It is possible that they are stronger than what they experienced in the supernatural, but now in the human world. Mickey, it can't be, then there are humans who really have so much power. Issei, yes mom, do you remember the guy who made me feel bad? Mickey, yes, how can I forget it? Issei, it's possible that I see him, and that he's more powerful than the last time I fought him. Mickey, but I don't want them to leave you in that state. Issei, don't worry, I've trained like crazy for this moment. But then the door was knocked on with great despair. Mickey, who could it be? Issei, it must be May. When she opens the door, May throws herself at Issei. May, when were you going to tell me that I was opening an international tournament? Issei, I was going to tell you but I saw you arrived. May, and I'll guess you'll participate. Issei, yes, I will actually travel to England. May, what England to what? Issei, the presentation of teams. May, I'll go with you. Issei, I was also going to call you to see if you could stay and take care of my parents while I'm gone, please. May, okay, that's okay, but promise me that you'll come back safely. Issei, if you don't worry, I'll be traveling depending on how the fights go. May, I'll be supporting you and keeping an eye out for you. Issei, it's okay, and I will also come for a local match in a stage that the dojo is preparing. There you can go, and if I make it to the finals you can go, but I don't know if you will make it, and very strong fighters who can handle elements like you do. May, you mean my kinesis. Issei, those same, and thank you for always being there when I need you. May, I will always be there for you and you for me, we promise, right? Issei, if you are the best. May, yes I am, but I want compensation. Asking for a kiss, and Issei accepts. Mickey, how cute they make me want to cry. I want grandchildren now. Issei, mom, so we have to plan it. Mickey, sorry, don't be angry. May, I am willing to do that, and my mother-in-law will soon have grandchildren. Issei, you too, May. May, you don't feel like having a family. Issei, well, yes, but let's take it easy. After a few days, Issei asked to leave work, and everyone there encouraged him to win. And Issei was already preparing his bags so they could pick him up to take them to the airport. May, honey, hurry up, they're here. Issei, I'm going down and saying goodbye to his parents. Rio, Robert, Leonardo, Emily, Yuri, King, and Marco were waiting for him on the street. Leonardo, Issei, are you ready? Issei, yes, let's go. Leonardo, and who is the beautiful lady? Issei, she's May, she's my girlfriend and fiancé. King, oh, already Issei is growing. Emily, so you are Issei's girlfriend. Issei, May, they are the people who gave me the hope to keep going. May, hello, thank you for taking care of Issei, I owe you a lot. Yuri, you're welcome, but I feel something in you, it's ki. May, you mean my chi, I can control it too. Rio, miss, you must go to our dojo. King, there you go, Rio, you never change. Forgive him. May, don't worry, I'll go when Issei goes to train. Issei, well, I'm leaving now, take care of my parents. May, yes, darling. Giving each other a kiss. Robert, let's leave the kisses for later, the plane leaves in an hour. Issei, if we don't see. So he and his suitcase are loaded into the car, waving goodbye to May. And so they left for the airport, where they arrived but before taking the plane. Rio, I must say that I am proud of you three, you exceeded my expectations and I hope you win. Marco takes care of them. Marco, yes, master. All three, oops. Yuri, Emily-chan demonstrates what a Kyokugenryo princess does. By giving them her headband. Emily, yes, and Yuri. King, daughter, teaching them that women can do it too. Emily, yes, mom, I will be able to approve what you taught me and my aunt. Robert, son, you know, you always have fast legs. Leonardo, if I don't let the legacy of the Kyokugenryo tiger be trampled, he'll get kicked first. Rio, Issei, after all these years you still regret what you experienced. Issei, no, master, you opened that light of hope for me and I am more than happy with what I have achieved. Rio, that's all, demonstrate the Kyokugenryo. Issei, oops. With all the words said, the four of them set off for the tournament that their masters once participated in. But what surprises await the new generation of karatekas? In a dimly lit place. My lord, the preparations are made. The first phase starts very well. Yes, sir. Leaving. Haha, with this tournament we will be able to gather the greatest amount of energy, and awaken the god Orochi, and use his power to rule the world, and the plan must not fail, besides that these stupid beings are so easily manipulated. Seeing a recording with a crystal to a laboratory where there are some supernatural beings already rising. Cap 16, start cough. We found ourselves at London International Airport, where Issei and the others arrived after a long trip. Emily, everything hurts, I couldn't be comfortable all day. Leonardo, I'm not complaining, I've had to sleep on rocks, no Issei. Issei, if you don't say it, I don't want to remember those moments. Emily, why do you say so, Issei and I? Issei, let's just say it wasn't a nice memory. Marco, well guys, we have to stay at our hotel. The three of them agreed to take a car that was part of the tournament committee. Once they got there, the car took them to their hotel, but some people were watching them. You felt that? Apparently those guys are strong, I could feel their ki. Already arriving at the hotel, the first to get off was Emily, who seemed very excited about the city and took out her phone to take photos and upload them to social networks like a little girl, who left Issei and Leonardo with a drop of sweat. Leonardo, I see you're having a lot of fun. Issei, yes, apparently he looks more like Yuri-sensei, ha ha ha. Leonardo, but during all that you felt that someone was watching us. Issei, yes, I see that they are guys who will participate in the tournament, and they seem quite strong. They could destroy this country if they set their mind to it. Leonardo, yes, but I see you relaxed. Issei, that's because when I was a weakling in my high school days I couldn't even do push-ups or run even an inch without getting excessively tired, and I was already a demon for those times. Leonardo, you were so bad. Issei, yes, that's the extent of it. But well, there's no need to complain anymore. I'm stronger now, so we have to unpack. Leonardo, yes, because Emily is already more excited than us. Emily, guys, let's go see the city, let's go. The two of them just looked at that with a sarcastic laugh but resigned themselves to listening to him. Meanwhile, Marco went ahead. After a walk around the city and visiting iconic places in London, night came and they went to a restaurant to eat a good dinner before the actions begin tomorrow. Issei, oh, that was really nice. Getting to know different cuisines increases my repertoire of dishes. Emily, that's true, you are an Issei and I chef. Leonardo, when would you design to cook us something? Issei, when the tournament ends and I will take May and my parents to the dojo. Emily, that would be great, I already want to meet May. Issei, and you will, she is a good girl, even I was surprised. After talking about other things, they went to their hotel rooms to rest, and tomorrow they went to the tournament presentation. In another more specific part, in a large meeting room, there were the largest entities in the supernatural world to debate a topic that is becoming a trend in the human world that reached the ends of the world because a fighting tournament would be held that brought together the strongest fighters in the world. Sir Shay, as always, have a good stay. Today's topic, I feel that it is almost certain that you already know that in recent days there have been events taking place in the human world where an event is making a lot of echo throughout the world because a tournament is going to be held in which several humans will participate. According to my informants, very powerful ones who will show their abilities to the whole world. These humans have an energy unknown to us that is generating too much intrigue. Putting on a magical projection. Apparently these humans can defeat supernatural beings without the need for effort, but what is most intriguing is that their limit, or reach of power, is unknown. Miguel, so the words written by Father are true, humans hide things that we do not know and because of their origin. Yazaka, but aren't these humans supposed to know how to fight in a very particular way? Sir Shay, that's why we wanted to ask Son Goku if he knew anything. Son Goku, to tell the truth, I have been linked to several humans with very extraordinary abilities, like one I knew as Buddha. Many opened their eyes upon hearing that human. Azazel, you mean the same one who managed to achieve a power that was equivalent to a god and not a weak one but a powerful one capable of fighting the dragon gods. Son Goku, that's right, he had a very strange energy and he manifested it immediately, but the most surprising thing is that he moved very large things with his mind, and after his desire there have been humans who had a particular way of fighting. This was martial arts. Odin, according to what I have seen of humans, they fought in a barbaric and animalistic way, using weapons like swords and other things. Zeus, I have also seen, but these martial arts were refined as if they were completely different entities. They seemed like spirits. Osiris, yes, they also handled the elements without the need to use magic circles. Sir Shay, all this gave me the task of finding out more about this tournament called KOF, which will be held in London, where the fighters will meet and there will be preliminary fights, and I feel that this will attract the attention of the Chaos Brigade. Everyone tensed up and put on a serious face. The tournament will be presented tomorrow, we must be aware of this. Where everyone agreed to meet tomorrow to watch the tournament. Meanwhile some women gathered to talk. Sona, how are you and your husband laughing? Rias, well, he's on a mission that he said he was going to go on, but we started arguing about different things. That didn't happen before, I don't know what's wrong with him. Sona, I see, and your children? Rias, they are fine, they are with their other brothers. They are very good. But X takes good care of his sister. He was the idea of that tournament in the human world, my brother saw it. Sona, I see, and what do you think those humans have? Rias, I don't know, but it must be something very important for the leaders. Sona, well, see you tomorrow. Rias, yes. The next day, in a huge stadium, there were many fans shouting with joy and too much confidence. Many were talking about things like who would be there. Meanwhile, in the stands there were two very well-known people, a brown-haired man and a red-haired man, as well as a black-haired woman who came with their partners. Kyo, wow, they really did a great job this time, this stadium is huge. Iori, Jum, this is pure cheap show, we know there is something. Chizuru, I remember when we fought, but it's time to see our children. Kyo, they have surpassed us when we were the same age, I can't wait for it to start. Chizuru, they are the new guardians of the Orochi seal, I know it will go well. On another platform. Ash, Betty, what do you think of this new event? Elizabeth, it is very big and also with more advanced things, but our children are here to demonstrate their strength as Blantorch. Ash, ha ha ha, always proud of your lineage. On a giant boat. Soldier, Commander-in-Chief, all forces have been cleared. Ralph, yes, thank you, thank you. Whip, Ralph, we have to keep an eye on everything. Ralph, yes, I know, but the boys and our son are there. Whip, yes, I hope nothing happens to him. Ralph, don't worry, that boy is well trained. Clark, Ralph, and Lioness. Ralph, she has been with her husband since she got married and had her children, she developed too much attachment to them. Whip, it's reasonable that she lost everything since she was a child and she doesn't want anyone to separate from her anymore. Ralph, and understanding that crazy Iori is surprising. Clark, well, they share something that they've fought to keep at bay. Ralph, well, we have to get serious, things will get too serious from now on. Southtown, United States Haida residence. May, mother-father is going to start. Mickey, I'm coming, dear. Serving the drinks. Gora, May, how are you? May, fine, thank you, and you? Gora, despite being my age, I still can. Mickey, honey, you're a mess. Gora, because I'm embarrassed in the presence of our son's fiancé. Mickey, because you won't let me lie. May, don't fight, look, it's about to start. Underworld meeting room. All the spectators were taking their places. Azazel, wow, humans have improved so much in their technology. Miguel, and you saying it seems like one of those games they play. What they saw were 3D augmented reality projections where animals, landscapes, and mythological beings appeared according to them, but in reality they exist. X. It's amazing how much I would like to see them live, don't you think, Mom? Rias, yes they are. X, and my dad. Rias, he went on a mission, he won't be able to stay all day. X, he doesn't play with me anymore or my brothers seem distant. Rias, yes, but your other mothers and I will tell him to do it. Don't you believe me, girls? They all agreed. Shiva, those humans are discovering new things with that technology they've been inventing. Odin, and you can even say that in different things they have been improving enough that people from my faction have traveled to the human world to try it out. Serge, they are going to begin. In the center of the huge stadium, a person came out of the ground with platforms. It was the presenter. When he came out, everyone shouted with joy. It had been years since a KOF tournament. Many new generations would see such an event. Presenter, good afternoon, City of London, everyone. It has been years since a KOF tournament saw the light of day, but there is no need to wait. The time has come. But first, a few words from our event manager. Boss, City of London and the whole world, it's been many years since we had such a tournament to bring together the most powerful fighters in the world. After a tremendous effort, we had to come back in a big way, and even more so for you, the spectator. I hope you enjoy it, and with that in mind, I have no greater pride than to say these words. Let the King of Fighters begin. Fireworks went off from all sides, along with projections and colored papers with flags of all nationalities surrounding the stadium. The shouting was enormous, the people were crazy and wanted action. Meanwhile, the supernatural beings were surprised by such shouting. Presenter, thank you for those words, but what brings us to these circumstances? We will begin by introducing the teams. This year it was decided that there would be 4 per team, so without further ado, let's welcome them. The crowd was screaming. Gabriel, so here come those humans who have those abilities. Griselda, yes, Gabriel-sama. Azazel, what do you say, Vala? You now feel like fighting. Vala, I'm more than excited, my blood is boiling. Seeing such an event makes me feel like I'm my age again. Livian, honey, they are more than motivated. Mateo, with good reason, Mom supports my father, I do too. Azazel, like father, like son. Presenter, well, ladies and gentlemen, we start with them. They are the most successful team in the KOF. Their parents have set the bar very high, but they will not be alone. They will have their teacher and guide. They are the Japanese team. Then 4 individuals came out, made up of a brown-haired man, a blonde man with straight hair and a sumo wrestler, and another older brown-haired man with blue clothes. All the people were crazy. The women saw those present and wanted to eat them. While the supernatural. Azazel, wow, those guys are really impressive in terms of respect. Ajuka, yes, and a posture without openings. Asia, that brown-haired boy looks like. Everyone present was frightened, but they saw that his eyes were different. Announcer, well, we started off too strong, but let's turn up the heat. The next team is from the United States, but they have a legacy from another tournament that took place and their parents, but there is someone who is too loved by everyone, someone who equaled Kyo Kusanagi along with another fighter, the lone wolf, but his legacy still lives on in his son, but he doesn't come alone with him. His brother, but I see him as an uncle and his soulmates. And they are the Fatal Fury team. A boy with a red cap and a star on his back came out of a door. To his right another blonde boy with long hair and ninja touches, to the left a brown-haired boy with spiky hair and a Muay Thai touch, and behind him another blonde boy with a star and wings on his back. The stands were packed with excitement. Many girls couldn't believe they were seeing the heir to Terry Bogard, his son. The supernatural women were ashamed of such blonde men. Akeno, I must admit, those men look handsome. Aphrodite, I'm going to have a heart attack, I want those humans with me. Valley, Azazel, I can't take it anymore, I want to go. Azazel, calm down, Valley, I know this is too exciting for you, but hold on. In the sand? Presenter, if I am here, it is already another level, but we have to continue. The team that comes is just as important as the first two, because you will wonder why. Well, because in this one there was also the other fighter who was battling Kyo Kusanagi and Terry Bogard. It is the team of the now master of the Kyokugenryu karate style, no more and no less than Ryo Sakasaki. Mickey, finally my boy will go out with that outfit that his teacher once wore. Goro, come on son. May, my love, show them what you are made of. In the underworld. Azazel, I have a feeling we're in for a huge surprise. Vale, you felt it too, Azazel. Livian, what is it, darling? Vale, something that would stick. Serge, what could this be that I feel? Rias, this pain in the chest is what? All the girls watched attentively. At the Rio dojo. Come on guys, show them the new generation of Kyokugenryu style. Robert, this reminds me that I even got excited, come on guys. Yuri, look, father, at the following fruits of the art you created. Takuma, go ahead. Presenter, he raised that style to another level, but his pupils will follow in his footsteps and more. His new heir, the new invincible dragon, and his comrade the tiger, along with the new woman of the Kyokugenryu and his teacher in charge of them. They are the art of fighting team. Emily, it's time for us to go out and give it our all. Leonardo, I feel an emotion. Marco, we'll go first. Issei, I feel like they're watching. Issei, okay, let's go. All ugh? At that point Emily, Leonardo and Marco came out first. Where many men were perplexed by Emily, who was wearing the same clothes as Yuri in KOF 14, while Leonardo was wearing his father's outfit like the one in KOF 2003 and Marco was wearing his characteristic white karate suit with a black belt, but it reflected his well-formed muscles, and everyone was waiting for the last member, that even the son of Kyo and Terry was waiting for him more frankly, that he could see the evolution of his rival. Issei, come on Issei, this is the new beginning in your life, show everyone that you have surpassed your limits. Issei takes the first big step of faith. In that he comes out with his hair the same as Ryo had but brown, and his orange karate suit. Everyone saw Issei imposingly showing off his well-formed body and his head held high. The supernatural beings did not believe what they saw in the person who saved everyone, even Drake did not believe it, and the girls who swore eternal love to him could not find words. Vala would just smile to see his former rival and friend standing in that tournament. Azazel, so that's what you've been doing for these years, saying it out loud and then shouting it at the top of your lungs. Issei. Finally, the boy who once gave everything without receiving anything in return has appeared. What will happen now? Chapter 17. Hard work always pays off. In the meeting room in the underworld, the distinguished personalities could not believe what they were seeing. Issei, the former pillar of the Alliance, and one of those who fought Trisseza, was standing on the battlefield of the tournament, in which he saw an imposing presence. Despite not showing his skills, they looked more mature, and with a radical change of image. Even the most important women who were not their partners blushed with their appearance. While Azazel was ecstatic, his student was standing there after not seeing him for years, and Vala was no exception. His battle friend lets himself be seen. Light only covered his mouth to see an old friend. The women of his former harem just didn't understand anything. Issei was there, and they thought that he had already forgotten him. But since Dai no longer paid attention to them and argued a lot, something began to be missing. Serge and his parents didn't recognize him. He seemed like another subject, and so many expressions began to be seen. In the arena, they were finishing presenting the teams, and the people were crazy with excitement. There were very strong fighters. Announcer, with this we begin the action. I hope you all get what you've been waiting for. First of all, I will say how the tournament will be. We will start with the first fight as an opening. After this, the teams will have to travel to the countries or places where the teams chose their battlefield without first drawing lots to see who are the teams that will inaugurate the tournament, and then the confrontations until reaching the grand finale. With this said, the draw begins. All the people shouted with excitement. Then the presenter began to tell the teams that a member will come to pick up a piece of paper where this will be their number for the fight that will take place. All the teams were talking to each other to see who would pass. Marco, okay guys, we have to pass someone. Issei, I pass, I'm bad with luck. Leonardo, maybe I'm bad at that. Marco, well, me. But he was stopped by Emily. Emily, they are so bad, they didn't let me give me my opinion, but I want to go. Marco, are you sure? Emily, if not, we will be the first team to fight, trust me. So the presenter had the members take out the paper. In the underworld. Azazel, so they will go through to see who will go through first. It's interesting that this is similar to the raiding game, but it wouldn't be bad to copy its modality. Serorg, I want to see what these humans are hiding. Many teams have already passed, and the next one to pass is Emily. Emily, well, for the good of the team, I must not fail, otherwise it would be bad because they could see our skills and openings, but here I go. She put her hand in the box with her tongue hanging out very comically and shuffling the papers so that the first one doesn't come out. Leonardo, we're counting on you, Emily. Issei, please. With hands giving encouragement. Emily, this is with joy. Yee. But then she and her classmates were stunned. At the Haida residence. Mickey, wow, this is bad. Gora, it can't be. May, it can't be that bad luck. With her hand on her forehead, moving it in disappointment. In the room. Azazel, this is a mere coincidence or bad luck. Valley, yes, it seems that we won't wait long to see Issei show us his skills. Presenter, well, with the drawn ending, we will start the first match between the Art of Fighting teams and the Fatal Fury team. Meanwhile, in a dressing room was the Issei team with dead faces. Emily, I'm sorry, I thought a number would come out that would put us far away, but... Marco, what a problem, we're already off on the wrong foot. Issei, yes, but we must give it our all, please cheer up. Leonardo, Issei is right, we knew sooner or later that we would have to fight. Emily, yes, but I will reveal our strategies. Issei, don't worry, we'll see what we do, this is exciting, my soul is on fire. Leonardo, now all of these, who will be our opponents? On a screen they showed our karateka's opponents. Marco, I saw this coming. It's exciting and you'll finally have your long-awaited revenge, Issei. He saw the monitor and clenched his fists with excitement. He will have the revenge for which he has trained like crazy, something inhuman for a person, but he wanted to overcome his limits. Issei, my fighting spirit never stops getting excited. Emily, Leonardo, why is Issei and I so excited? Leonardo, did you see that boy with the cap? Emily, yes, that's what it has to do with. Leonardo, well, he's the reason Issei arrived all wounded and defeated. Emily, that's why Issei and I arrived in that state, and wants his revenge. Leonardo, yes, Issei has trained more than anyone else to have the strength to match that of that subject, because the disadvantage that Issei had was that he did not start training as a child, otherwise he had to start that disadvantage by trying harder. Emily, and how strong is Issei and I? Leonardo, well, with one blow he can open a waterfall and he still has more things. Emily, amazing, I want to see it now. At that point the whole arena was like lacquer because they had waited quite a long time to see the opening match, and the presenter came out after all the preparations had been made. In the meeting room. Sir Issei, the first meeting will begin. Azazel, we'll see what Issei can do and more, don't you believe it, Vala? Valley, I already want to see it in action. Miguel, what a surprise to see him. Dulio, I haven't seen him for a while, he's changed a lot. At the stadium. Announcer, are you ready, people? All the people are accented. Well, as we promised, the first fight will begin. The studio has a resistance guaranteed to endure battles like the combat arena, since we know that these guys are not normal humans, so we take measures. In the meeting room. Sir Issei, so much so to do such a thing. Odin, I see that this will give us more than 1,000 surprises. At the stadium. Presenter, well, with that said, let's begin the first meeting. As the first participants, let's welcome the boy with the power to control storms and also being a world Muay Thai champion just like his father with you. George Higashi. In one of the entrances there is a brown-haired boy with long hair. George, so this is what father and mother were talking about. This is really exciting, especially for a champion, and where is my opponent? The whole stands were screaming. Presenter, on the other hand, we have the strongest member of the Kyokyujin style. She was trained by her aunt and mother so that she would not be afraid of those who see her as less and weak for being a woman. Emily Sakasaki. She was entering with such happiness as well as greeting the fans. In the dojo. Yuri, come on Emily, I know you can do it. Show your strength. Let's support her, girls. All the women in the dojo supported Emily. In the stadium stands. Terry, Joe, look, your son is going to face a woman. Do you think he can hit her? Joe, yeah, gender equality is like this. George won't hold back with anyone. Lily, Joe, I told you not to promote those values that George should hit women. Joe, I'm sorry, dear. In the meeting room. Gabriel, this is unfair to put that girl against that boy. Aphrodite, I agree with her, and more so that girl is too beautiful to be hit. In the sand. George, wow, I got a girl who was disappointing and also short. Emily, hey, I'm listening to you, but despite being a woman and small, I won't let you insult me, but now you've made me angry, you'll see what awaits you. George, try if you can. Presenter 4. With these we begin the first match of this tournament. The entire crowd was shouting in support of George, who was of English nationality through his mother. Others did not have a favorite and women were supporting Emily. This is how it started, where Emily went to attack George, jumping to a great height to give kicks aimed by his two teachers while George covered himself, where at the moment of receiving the impact, a great pressure came out and tempered the floor from the force that Emily gave in her kicks, something that surprised George. Presenter. Participant Emily delivered a combo of punches that were too strong for her build and height. George, this girl has tremendous strength. From what I can tell, she is using Muay Thai kicks with karate. In the locker rooms. Issei, of Emily, I did train very hard. Those kicks had too much force, and that's just starting. Leonardo, I say the same. Who would have thought that little Emily had such strength? it seems that her aunt and her mother trained her. Marco, if it seems that she far surpasses her teachers. Issei and Leonardo agreed with the comment. Meanwhile, in the meeting room. Azazel, but what strength does that human have? Look, to do such a push and make the floor shake just with kicks is admirable. If I'm afraid to say she has the strength of a tower or a fallen angel, one of the strongest or a little less, but that's just starting. I can't even imagine what strength she'll have when they start to take it all out. But that's true, she's stronger than some supernatural women. That comment offended and ridiculed more than one woman who has not trained or has poor physical strength compared to other women, but the fact that a human woman has that strength surprised more than one. Circe, she would make a good tower. Gabriel, wow, that girl is very strong, I can't even imagine what she had to do to have that strength. While on the battlefield. Emily, I see that you were surprised by that attack. I'm just starting. Get ready. I won't hold back. George, I see you're a worthy rival, so I'll go all out. With that, they began to attack each other with blows from all sides. Either one gave in, one hit but the other blocked. This caused the floor to start shaking and the difference between genders was not noticeable. At the meeting. Odin, but what the heck is that speed and strength? I remember that humans didn't have that unless they had a sacred blood that helped them enhance their abilities to supernatural levels. But I see that they are demonstrating something else. Yasaka, and more than that, girl is not thirsty, she is very strong. Konu, yes mother, she is enduring all the attacks of that boy. Sona, a woman demonstrating that level of mastery in combat from where she learned all those attacks. Seraphil, it's admirable, I'm going for it. Valley, Azazel, and to think that these two have this strength, I can't imagine what Issei would have. Azazel, I see that boy will have too many surprises for us, let's see how the fight develops. At the stadium. Presenter, the participants are putting on a show of strength and unique talent. It is not for anything that they are trained by very strong people. George, I see this is starting to heat up, but how about this girl try my whirlwinds? Hurricane Umpa. With that said, several 2-meter-high tornadoes headed straight for Emily with no good intentions against the girl's physical integrity. Many people were surprised by how he was able to create these tornadoes, give them direction and speed. In the stands. Terry, I see that the real action is finally starting. Joe, so things are starting to get serious. In the meeting room. Beelzebub, damned, how could he do that without using wind magic? Zeus, with this, Elon meant that humans had different abilities. That boy used wind from nowhere and with great power to develop tornadoes. At the stadium. Emily saw how several tornadoes came towards her, and she began to avoid them. She saw how some of them hit the electromagnetic barrier that the stadium's new security regulations had to guarantee people's safety. Upon impact, they generated a massive shock wave. In the dojo. Yuri, come on Emily, you can do it. At the stadium. Emily at one point saw 2 tornadoes coming together with no chance to dodge them in time, and she began to put her hand back with the intention of throwing something. In his hand, a ball of energy began to form that grew larger and larger, and he began to throw it towards the tornadoes. Emily, KO or Ken. Emily released a powerful energy projectile that hit the tornadoes. Upon contact, an explosion and air pressure were generated. This left more than one surprised, and more than that, that explosion generated a tremor. While at the meeting, many were surprised when 2 attacks collided. Miguel, but what was that? That girl used some kind of energy projectile that countered the boy's tornadoes. Dulio, yes Miguel-sama, that seemed like light, but at the same time lightning was very strange. Rias, how could that woman do that? It looks like your Akeno rays, but also like my destruction attack. Akeno, yes, she is scary because I never saw her use a magic circle. Circe Son Goku-sama, how did you do that? Do you have any clues? Son Goku, I don't know, brat, but those attacks were powerful. At the stadium. The smoke dissipated and Emily and George Armitian were seen again, but this time they began to use their powers, which impacted against the same ones or those who had to block them. The place was crazy as the fans supported their favorite team. While George began to use another fire thing that combined with his thunder, and Emily, as his attacks were key, she could counter them, but George's intensity was rising, so Emily also rose. She did not want to give up. In the dressing room, Issei, come on Emily, I know you can do it. Leonardo, cousin, don't let them beat you. At the stadium, Emily, I'll go with more strength and speed. She had her body further enhanced with ki to be able to keep up with him, and thus hit George. She launches herself with a combination of punches and kicks which were finding openings, but she received a knee to her stomach that made her step back. George, I see you hit hard for a woman, but I haven't gone all out either, but you were. Emily was holding his stomach from the blow he received. Emily, I have to go with everything. I can't disappoint my mother and aunt, but more Issei and Leonardo, they trusted the first encounter in me. I will show everything I have trained for this moment. Putting on a posture of recharging more ki to give it my all, George approached her and then gave a combination of Muay Thai blows that, combined with his pyrokinesis and aerokinesis, were making Emily retreat. But she also began to throw projectiles with her mother's characteristic feat to begin to counterattack with punches and kicks. The fight was brutal, a woman fighting at a brutal level. This made the ground tremble, making the crowd excited. At the meeting, they couldn't believe what they were seeing. Many women encouraged Emily because she was showing a strength that many would have liked, while the men couldn't believe what they were seeing. Issei, when humans and especially women had that strength, the most striking thing is whether their combat technique is very precise. Seraphil, look, they're getting ready for something. At the stadium, George, you're too strong, I must admit, but let's see if you can withstand this. Starting to charge with his arm as if he was going to hit upwards and then releasing a huge tornado whose height was greater than the stadium, creating a huge wind that went straight to Emily. In Leonardo's dressing room, Emily, be careful. Issei, teacher, I have to stop him. Marco, don't look closely at Emily's face. She has great determination. Trust her. At the meeting, Azazel, but what the hell, how could he do that? That whirlwind can destroy the city without using magic, but the most worrying thing is that he throws it at that girl who wants to kill her. Vala, I'm crazy, but kill a woman. At the stadium, announcer, Fighter George has just sent a huge attack to Fighter Emily, who is between a rock and a hard place. Emily, in her thoughts. So this is the real test that my mother and aunt wanted. Flashback. Yuri, Emily, I'm going to teach you an attack that is characteristic of the Kyokugenryu style, and I know that both my brother and Robert are only teaching Issei and Leonardo. It's the House Shokoken. This attack will be able to make you surpass your limits, so let's go. In the present, Emily, this is the moment to give it all. Putting his arms in an X shape and then gathering huge amounts of ki in his body. In the dressing room, Issei, don't tell me they taught it to you too, Emily. Marco, lucky Yuri, how much you had to train this girl to be able to do that. At the stadium, Emily began to say some words. In the process, he put his hands as if forming a ball on his left side. Husho. From his palms a very dense pink ball of energy was generated. Hokin. Throwing that ball in the movement forward, he began to open his arms, and from that small ball came out a huge pink projectile of energy with too much force in the direction of the tornado to crash, stopping dead, and creating a great explosion, raising a lot of dust. At the meeting, Miguel, what happened and how could that girl stop that? Odin, that girl began to generate too much energy in her hands, and at the moment of throwing it with great force, she opened her arms to generate a large projectile. It is surprising. Yasaka, that girl is very strong for her height and build. Gabriel, she would be a great angel. Azazel, they don't learn but they see the dust is clearing. At the stadium, Emily and George were seen with scratches and a little blood. But as soon as they saw each other, they rushed to finish the match. George kicks him and Emily ducks down to connect hooks to his stomach with great force to finish with a great jumping hook, leaving George out of breath and falling to the ground, but she gets up and connects an elbow to his head and then begins to do a combination of all her repertoire at high speed, hitting Emily squarely, who was spitting blood. At the end of the special movement you can see Emily kneeling on the ground, spitting a lot of blood. At the dojo, Yuri and King were worried. Yuri, Emily, I don't continue. King, daughter, please don't hurt yourself anymore. Ryu, Emil 3. At the stadium, George, you are formidable, but this is your limit, and my father told me to stop fighting already. Approaching Emily to deliver the coup de grace. But Emily did not resign herself in her thoughts. Emily, panting. It hurts a lot, this is my limit. I knew I was strong, but there are stronger fighters, and both Issei and Leonardo are stronger than me, but I will not let myself be defeated so easily by taking a breath. Surprising George, who tries to land a punch, but he dodges it, and Emily tries to connect a kick but felt a great pain in her ribs, one of which was broken. This is taken advantage of by George, who sends a tornado of his size that hits Emily, who is thrown out and falls unconscious. The presenter gives the verdict. The fighter Emily cannot continue. The victory of the first round belongs to George from the Fatal Fury team. All the stands shouted with excitement and applauded Emily for such an extraordinary effort. At that point, the paramedics come in to look after Emily and take her to a treatment room. Presenter, did you like the first cough fight? Wait for the next fight, which will be between Steven and Leonardo. The meeting will be in 15 minutes. In the intensive care room, Leonardo, Issei and Marco arrived to see Emily, who was already conscious and bandaged. Issei, Emily, how are you? Leonardo, you didn't have us worried. Emily, well, they already attended to me, but I'm sorry I lost. Issei, don't worry, you did what you could. Leonardo, you were great. Marco, you surpassed your limits, you should be proud of yourself. Emily, yes, I lacked more strength. Issei, don't worry, we'll try to turn around, Leonardo continues. Leonardo, leave it to me, I'll win, I promise. Letting Emily rest. Issei, we have to win because of his efforts. Leonardo, yes. Marco, don't be so confident, Leonardo. Steven may have improved a lot. Leonardo, understood, well, wish me luck. Issei, master, I see that there are very strong rivals. Marco, I see you got excited. Issei, yes, who would have thought that there would be people with that strength, and that I will beat you, Frank. I'm sure. Clenching his fist. The tournament has begun and there are very strong people for Issei and his team who will be the winner between the Fatal Fury and Art to Fighting teams.
Let me know in the comments below if you guys want the next part. Also check out my other video that has been shown and left. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like and share this video. And have a fantastic day. Bye.